episode of Bodybuilding and Business.
She's already laughing at you.
Well, she probably wasn't expecting the clap.
I wasn't.
4 months later, and we still have to clap to start every episode as if we're a $5 production, which I don't know if we're even a $5 production.
Yeah, 5 cents.
Do you?
Yeah, 5 cents.
What are you trying to say?
It's great.
Okay. All right.
Love
then.
a deal. This is a deal.
You don't clap when you record?
No.
It helps us edit when the audio
Do you edit
spikes.
your own, or does someone else edit it?
Our producer does.
Okay.
See, so that's why we do it. We do it all on our own. So we have to see
So we were told it's easier to find it, right?
Smart.
if you
To
see a
where the
spike
audio
in
starts.
all of a sudden. So I have a big clap into the microphone. You see this spike, and it's like, that's where the video starts.
And then because we connect the audio to the video separately, so then you know exactly where they line up.
Yeah. And you see my hands obviously up in the air like this too. So you're like,
I try
that's
and
where
cut
it's
that
going.
out sometimes, or he does. If he's editing, we switch off back and forth, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you hear the clap and you see it, but at least everything links together, right?
And it works for us.
So people who
That's
don't see
genius.
it, we start every episode with Pat clapping.
They
Or then his same line.
They know. They know I clap. Whether they like it or not, it's there. It's a part of the
They
podcast forever.
know.
It is what it is at this point. It's a staple.
So we are back for another episode of Bodybuilding and Business. And once again, we're joined by friend of the show.
The infamous
Friend.
Caitlin.
Caitlin. Thanks,
She's here.
guys.
Welcome back.
I love coming here.
First
Good.
returning guest.
Yeah. Am I your first returning guest?
First returning guest.
I mean,
Last time you weren't the first guest. This time you're the first returning guest, though.
Yes.
So there's always a first for something.
I'm important.
We had an amazing podcast the last time you came on.
Yeah.
We talked far too long about so many topics.
I don't think it was too long.
I felt like I could
It
have kept
flowed so.
listening.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like it flowed so naturally.
I mean,
and there was so little that we still got to.
All right, both of you guys jumping down my throat.
Well, listen.
If I would have finished what I was going to say, we talked far too long about too many things without the ability to really hone in on one or two things, which is why we wanted to have you back so that we can actually dig deeper into more of
I
the
wanted to have you
topics
back because I like you.
I mean,
Pat just wanted to get more information out of you.
rather than a smorgasbord of conversation,
Smorgasbord.
which we're also very good at. So we did not talk about what we were going to talk about today, even though we did ramble last time. We probably should have planned, but that's okay because that's not who we are as people.
No, fuck planning. I like to just flow.
It's not
naturally.
who we are.
Yeah.
Natural.
I do think,
which is not what we are. Well,
thanks.
debatable. But
So I do think, though, and not to jump right down the throat into conversation, I do think, though, it'd be really cool today because I don't think we got to talk about you being a show promoter as much. And I think that nowadays it's such a big part of what you do.
Yeah.
And I don't think people really understand what show promotion is and
what goes into
it. And like,
we brushed up on the fact that she throws her own shows now.
Yeah.
But we didn't really dig into detail on like what that actually takes from you. You know?
I actually posted about that today. Did you see that?
no, I didn't.
You posted your flyer.
Yes.
And I said, like, one of the most fun shows at the coolest venue.
Thank
Because
you.
it really...
I'm not gonna lie, the venue is badass.
Dude, I love that venue. And like, I'm worried we're not going to be able to keep it.
Really? Reason?
The venue itself.
They're not gonna be there, or they don't want to do this there.
Literally, this happened within like a week. And I'm like spilling the beans. I don't give a motherfucking fuck.
Spill it.
That's how I feel.
That I don't care.
He can't say it, but that's how he
I
feels.
don't care. The my contact for booking, we've been trying to get a date from her for fall of 2025 for 5 months, and she either does not answer me or says I'll get back to you.
Do you have... We know you have this fall and next spring
Spring.
already
Is it because
Mm-hmm.
it's so far out and they just don't? They're not used to that.
No, because think about it, that same venue books weddings.
Okay.
You're booking a wedding. How far in advance
Yeah.
do you plan that shit? Hopefully,
Most
Pat will be
people-
doing that
yeah.
soon.
Hopefully.
What?
Nothing. He missed it.
We
He
can't
can listen
spill
to
the
it when he
beans.
edits. I know.
No, I heard. I just had the same conversation with my mom before I came. And I didn't
He's like, oh, I didn't know my mom showed up
I
to
didn't
record
feel like
today.
having this again after just having this on the phone with my mom this morning.
I mean, I'm a mom and a
yeah, no,
woman,
I
so
get
I
it.
have to be like,
It'll come in due time.
Good.
And maybe I'll do it at 115 Bourbon Street.
Hey,
I mean, you should, but
we know Rosie doesn't listen to the podcast, so
She doesn't listen, and
it'll still be a surprise.
It will.
And for those of you that don't know, we are talking about 115 Bourbon Street.
Yeah, and we love the venue. I mean, it's cool, it's different, it's urban. The space
There's a bar.
fits us. There's a fucking bar in the room.
Let's point out the obvious.
They at
here.
least have Buffalo Trace. At least.
They did give me a ticket, though. I was a little upset about that, but it was my own fault.
Oh, a parking ticket.
It was my own fault.
It's fucking Chicago.
It's all right. It was
Or
my
Marionette
It
Park
was
or whatever.
it was his fault.
It was my fault.
not.
My sticker was expired.
Yeah.
dumb.
Which still
Not
is.
like
I got pulled over for it yesterday.
You're also dumb.
It's not my fault.
It is.
his fault.
Whose fault would it be?
It's kind of not, actually. Hold on.
Yeah,
it's
fuck
technically
off.
not. We won't go into the whole story of it.
Long story short, Buddy owns a dealership.
Okay.
Buddy gives me deals on cars. All my clients buy cars from him. Whatever.
That's why we don't drive Jeeps.
Long story short, they dropped the ball with transferring my plate from my last car to my new car. So now I go to renew my registration, and the state's like, hey, we don't have anything even for this vehicle. So I'm like, well, figure it out. And they're like, no, it's not our fault. It must have been the dealership. Call the dealership. The dealership's like, hey, no, the state dropped the ball and they need to do A, B, and C. Call back the state. And the state's like, no, it's the dealership. And now I have them communicating. And now for almost a year, my shit's been expired. I got pulled over for it yesterday.
Did you tell him?
I have an email from the state and from the dealership,
Good.
both blaming each other. And I just show them. And they're like, all right, we'll give you a warning. But there's literally nothing I can do. I've been battling back and
game a
forth.
couple weeks back
Ew.
and parked right where we needed to park, but because the sticker was expired, we came outside and it was like, oh, you
got a $200 ticket.
it was like
Sweet.
it was like a 1 hour parking. We were an hour and 1 minute. And then,
Literally
and then
1
of
minute.
course
We saw the cop walking away, and I was like, motherfucker.
and then he threw the sticker on there too because he obviously went and checked and was like, oh, the sticker's expired too. He just threw that on there.
I would be so irritated.
Enough about.
And it's like, what do I do?
Though.
Anyway.
That also happened at that show.
Yeah, but we
the
love it.
venue. Yes,
love it.
it's
I love the
super
venue.
cool.
I'm not going to lie. At first, I was upset when the Odeum closed down and you couldn't do the Odeum.
I know, 'cause it's closed.
Because your first year doing it there, that show was fucking amazing.
It was
And
awesome.
the fact that it forced you to be in a small space, the energy was insane, right? But I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
That was great. When we went to 115 Bourbon Street,
Yeah.
I was like, this place is badass.
So cool. And I have to say, you guys were not at the Continental. Was it Continental or the Mid-Illinois? The last one.
We missed
it was
the Mid-Illinois this year.
standing room only.
Really?
We sold all of our seats. So it had that vibe of the first one at the Odeum.
Awesome.
There was not one seat not filled. People were standing, leaning
is
up against the
awesome.
bar, which
That
was
is
awesome.
You know what I
beautiful.
didn't realize until I think I was finishing on stage for Classic.
With
I
your
wanna
first
say.
place win.
I think it was like the overall, after the overall for Classic, there was a mirror in the back and you could see yourself on stage.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
I didn't know that.
not perfectly, but it wasn't until I was in the overall and you're moving around, I was
Yeah.
moving around a little bit more and I looked up for a second and I was like,
hey.
I mean, there's a good distance from that,
it's
but
far.
you can see.
But I was
Yeah,
like, there's
it's
literally
behind the bar.
Yeah, there's literally a giant mirror behind the
Oh,
bar,
you're
and I
right.
can kind
Yeah.
of see
I'm
myself.
always right, Kate.
I'm sure your wife loves that.
She knows. Ask her. She
Oh,
knows.
fucking poor girl.
Yeah, which was a super cool thing that besides the venue being cool on its
Yeah,
own,
it's cool.
I was like, wish I knew this morning when I was at prejudging, but that's okay. It was still a cool thing to find later on. There's a mirror at the other side of the room and you can see
are
yourself on stage.
So right.
And it's a cool some people might be,
Just say it, you're not gonna offend me.
no, I think because I've done some of the other Illinois shows, when you're at the Copernicus Center, you're in this beautiful theater. You really are. And it's so lame to say that out loud, but as a kid, you do plays and whatevers in schools and you look at places like that and you're like, this is so dumb. I hate being in places like this. Now I go to the Copernicus Center and I'm like, man, I wish they still watched movies in places like this.
Yeah.
I wish you got to sit and watch a film in a place like this.
Theater.
Yeah.
Proper theater.
Yes, I would
Yeah.
love to be up on their balcony watching a movie there. That would be so cool. And when you're waiting for the show backstage there, you're like, I'm backstage of a theater. I'm
Yeah.
about to get on stage. the 115 Bourbon Street's not like that, but it's also cool in its own way. You feel like a rock star going backstage to get on a stage at a concert.
Yeah.
So different than like being presented.
It's a different vibe.
It is.
Yeah.
It brings you something that you don't have anywhere else in this area.
Right, because they're either at a school, which is super convenient. They have the seating, they have the lighting, they have the sound.
Yes.
Or the Copernicus Center, or a big empty,
a school or something like that.
like a convention center.
Yes.
You know.
So it was such a cool, like, again, I've gone to at the Copernicus Center. I felt like I'm a not artist, but I feel like I'm somebody who's getting on stage to perform.
Yeah.
And then at Bourbon Street, I felt like a rock star. I walked past like beer coolers and like the back, and I was like,
And I felt like a rock star because I got to cheer my client on while drinking an old fashioned.
I was like, heck yeah, this is gonna be so cool once I get up. Yeah, it's just a totally different vibe, and it's such a cool venue.
Thanks.
And I hope that they get back to you.
I hope to. Our contact person's been difficult. Unfortunately, our friends at USA, it's a Southside place. It's been there forever, so they know the owner. We're gonna have a little chit chat.
So, are you guys already in for 2024 though? Mm-hmm. Okay.
For spring of 24, not for fall yet, right?
Well, she said fall of 2025 is where you're having the
What
issue.
year
right
is this?
now, right?
Is it 2023 right
We're
now?
23.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm fall 2024.
Right.
And
Oh.
I had told her, I'm like, if it's this hard to nail you down for dates for spring and fall, I want dates for 25, 26. I want them now.
Yeah.
I'm going to book them now and I'll pay you now. I'll give you the deposit.
Let's do it.
Oh, we don't book in that far in advance. I'm like, that's bullshit.
Like we know
You would think they'd want to though.
I finally called her out in the email. I'm like, listen, because I was looking at my emails. I screenshotted them all to send to the owner and everything. Every email in the last 5 months, I titled me again, touching base, popping back in. And, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. And then 2 weeks ago, it was like, you must not be getting my emails. Listen, bitch, it doesn't work like that anymore. There is no, I didn't get your text.
Yes.
The fuck you didn't. You got my email and you got my text.
Yep.
And I check my junk mail because if a new client,
Yeah.
emails
Something
me, you
in
got to
spam
check
or
it.
whatever,
Yeah.
Like, listen, guys, we got literal computers in our pockets all the time.
Yeah, you didn't send those
We didn't
emails.
miss emails anymore. We don't miss text messages. Everyone who's watching, I'm looking right in the camera right now. If I didn't respond to your message,
You didn't send it.
either right. Well, no, that does happen though. People you probably didn't send your email. I have
Drafts.
a couple that I work with, both of them, the fiance and now the girl is realizing like the guy will get his update from me, and then I'll immediately get her check-in being like, it didn't send again. And I'm like, no, you're just mad because you thought you sent it and he sent his on time and he got a response.
You forgot or you purposely pushed it off.
Yes.
Because you didn't have a low rate or whatever.
And they'll be like, I forgot what I said. Well, obviously you didn't, because if you did write something, it'd be in a draft or it would be in my inbox. So you didn't do any of it.
Send.
Yes.
100%. Because if I fuck up, which is rare because I'm always right. But if I fuck up and I meant to send something to somebody, I will either own up to it or I'll be like, hey, oh my God, I am so sorry. I thought this sent. And I'll screenshot the date and time that it's sitting from my drafts and be like, hey, thought I sent this, didn't send, here it is.
Yeah.
So they know that I'm not full of shit.
Yep.
So if you're a client and you meant to get your check in, I've had clients who've done similar things to me. Yeah. They've sent their proof, hey, listen, thought this went through, it didn't go through. Here's when I tried to send it, blah, 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 whatever. Because they know that I have a cutoff and I don't answer it after that anymore.
Good.
Because too many people take advantage of that, right? So now they'll send proof, hey, sent this, my computer died right, I was sending, didn't realize it didn't send, here's it is, my drafts, next day, I'm a day late, here it is. And I'll respond to them right away.
Right. Sure.
So, yeah, they're full of shit.
They are.
So this lady's also full of shit.
This lady.
If she's listening, though, she's not. And we would love Kate to get those dates for October or fall of 25.
Doubt she's listening. And I don't even give a fuck because I'm talking to your boss.
So,
So we love it there.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We love it. It's a cool vibe. I hope we don't grow out of it if we are able to stay there.
Well, it would be great to grow out of it because that means that your show's just growing bigger and bigger, right? But the venue itself is amazing.
Yeah, it's
a cool spot.
I mean, the stage itself is kind of small, but like I don't care if we have standing room only.
Yeah.
I don't care. I think it's cool. It makes it makes fun.
It brings a better environment.
It does. It's loud. It's fun.
To be honest,
it's
if I go
packed.
to a concert, I'd rather not be stuck in a little seat. I'd rather be standing and closer to the stage or whatever it is. Yeah, exactly.
Same. So yeah.
You've never been to a concert. We get it, man.
Oh.
You don't celebrate anything. We understand.
Pat.
You don't have fun.
So, not enough about me.
Pat, if you get your pro card, how are you going to celebrate?
Well, we actually have we have a handshake deal. Kate, do you want to come to Vegas?
When?
Well,
when is it? End of July?
End of July.
Nah,
yeah.
I'm leaving for Sturgis a few days after that.
Just come. Anyway, so we have a deal.
Okay.
My wife actually made him forcefully handshake too. If he gets his pro card, he has to take shots with us.
But he's so unexcited right now.
I don't think it was shots. I think it was like, I have to have a drink. Like,
Michelle will remember.
I think it was drink. Because I'm pretty sure, didn't we talk about this? My parents are going to be there, and it would probably be like cooler if I was having a glass of wine with my dad.
I think we're going to do all the above.
We're not.
If you're going to do it,
Shots.
you're going to fucking do it.
Drinks.
Definitely not.
Beer pong,
But-
shotgun.
Yes.
Like a gun? Or you mean shotgun? I got my
shotgun.
foot card.
Hey, in Vegas, there's this place called,
Got my pistol right there.
let's go.
I know.
I think it's called Bullets and Burgers, right?
They have the Heart Attack Grill there. Did you go there yet?
Oh, I've seen that on.
No, but I've probably
Have you seen it,
eaten
right?
enough in Vegas to have a heart attack. So
It's like if you
close enough.
They reward fat people. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
If you're over 300 pounds, you get free food.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense. You should be feeding the non 300 pounders.
You
but
can hand out business cards.
That's okay. I've seen it on like the Food Network or whatever.
Me too, on the Food
My dad
Network.
and my brother have been there. They're like gigantic, greasy, disgusting burgers or something like that.
I'd eat
which
one.
sounds like pretty
Good.
good to me right
Dude,
now. But
There's
then
I
again,
love a big fucking greasy burger.
anything sounds good to me right now. But
Do you guys wait? Pause. Do you guys dip your French fries in ketchup or mayo?
Ketchup.
what did you just ask?
Have you ever tried it in mayo?
I
We
don't like mayo.
eat white creamy sauces. First of all,
Unless it's Alfredo sauce.
First of all, do you not like sour cream either?
No.
no.
I have to leave. I have to go.
This is what true friendship brings.
Make your
you.
choice.
Two
But
friends.
we still have Penelope.
I know, it's so good.
Listen.
You guys.
There's no mayo. We agree on all these. There's no mayo.
Aioli, it's mayo.
Nope.
It's the same fucking thing.
I don't touch
Am I
it.
talking too close to this?
No.
No, close to the button.
scream. No
It's the same
mayo.
thing.
No sour cream. No blue cheese. No ranch.
No mustard.
Whatever. Well, mustard's not
Mustard's not white.
No, but you were
we
just
definitely
listing-
don't
you were
fuck.
list- he was just
I
listing
was,
things
I
that
was
we don't-
naming all whites.
Yeah.
Condiments.
But we definitely don't fuck with mustard either.
While we're on the
Racist.
topic, no mustard.
I hate the yellows. Just kidding. I love the yellows.
So-
just not mustard.
That's not our jam. But you're telling me that dipping fries in what did you say, mayo?
So in high school, a lot of people
Aioli.
used to dip
Which is mayo flavored.
their fries in ketchup mixed with mayo.
Oh,
I thought
okay.
that- I
That's
thought-
Thousand Island dressing right
I thought
there.
that was disgusting.
It's good.
Is that Big Mac sauce?
Basically. With
Right?
sweet dill relish or whatever.
2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun.
Essentially, yeah. Mayo,
Is
ketchup,
a
and
Big Mac. If you were wondering.
cornichons.
Great.
They used
Never
to-
had a Big Mac in my life.
Me either.
I mean, I have.
You don't seem impressed by it though.
It's a
The
burger.
meat has no flavor.
Yeah, it's a burger.
I hate McDonald's.
So do I.
Liar.
I hate McDonald's.
Tell people what you really like.
If
Portillo's?
I eat McDonald's, well, I love
He
Portillo's.
loves their breakfast.
If I eat McDonald's, I like their breakfast.
so you can't say you hate it if you love their
But
breakfast.
we're talking about burgers.
All right, fine.
I know.
We're talking about burgers.
I know, but you can't say you hate
if I'm
the
going
place if you
fast
love
food
their
and I'm getting a
breakfast. How weird is
burger,
that, right?
I agree with Pat.
it is not.
That's like, but if I loved just
Okay.
say I love Portillo's milkshakes,
Hey.
I couldn't go on record and be like I hate Portillo's,
Hey.
Correct.
because I love their milkshakes.
Shut your mouth.
Hey,
Listen.
Shut
so
your
just
whore mouth.
be honest. Stop lying to me.
But I'm just saying, when you think McDonald's, people don't think breakfast.
No. An egg McMuffins got me through my fucking pregnancy. I couldn't.
Egg
I was so
McMuffin or a
nauseous.
bacon, egg, and cheese bagel.
Never had that.
And their hash brown,
No, what's
tell
the
me
one
they're
with
not
the-
great.
What's the one
It
with
is
the
good.
syrup in it?
That's what Jason
McGriddle.
gets.
McGriddles are good,
That's what my
but I like
healthy husband
I like
gets.
a bacon, egg, and cheese bagel better.
Griddle.
The highest calories of all their offerings, I do believe.
Is it really?
I think so.
I haven't had McDonald's since I was in high school. But
Isn't
right
that
now,
insane? He hasn't
Yeah.
had fast
So
food
12
other than Portillo's
12 years.
since he's been in high school.
Step outside. Yeah. Besides
Portillo's is fucking good.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm gonna make this
They don't
argument.
miss anything.
Now, the more that I've talked about this over the years, because now it's been 12 plus years, like it's getting longer and longer. Portillo's is getting so busy that it's very hard to argue that it is fast food. When was the last time you went to Portillo's and you were in and out within minutes? What fast food is supposed to be?
I don't
Late
think
at
ever.
night.
I don't think
Even
ever.
then,
no-
you're still waiting.
There's no way. You're always there for at least 20 minutes now. So how is it really fast food anymore?
not.
They're
It's gourmet.
freshly cooking your food, and it's from what we can tell, it's food. It's not frozen process. It's like actual.
So good.
Well, I'm sure it's all frozen and processed still.
Sorry,
but it's not. Yeah.
at least it's being cooked a little.
It's not like
Seed
a
oils.
McGriddle that's taken out of plastic,
But
pre-made,
you know what I
frozen,
will
and then
say?
heated
You know what
up.
I will say though. So there is for those of you that geographically don't know where we are. Greg is from the A town, in Addison.
Which geographically doesn't explain anything.
Well, hold on.
The
There
dirty
is
630.
there's a Portillo's distribution center there, which
Yes, it is.
which my brother actually works for a company that they make the vacuum sealing packages for them. So my brother has been to that facility and watched what they do, and it is real food that they're sending. Like it's not, and it's coming from this distribution center in Addison.
Yeah.
So like from what we
Right by
probably
that.
from what we probably get, we get pretty fresh food here in Illinois. We know where it's coming from, and it's really local.
True.
And I know the company that makes the vacuum sealing packages for it, and I know so it's like we do know it's pretty decent food.
Yeah.
Again, it's probably still frozen when they get it. It's
I
probably.
mean,
just
I don't
heated
think a
up.
hot dog of any sort is decent.
No, but
I
listen,
mean,
They taste great.
I know. All the fixins.
guys, we gotta stop talking about food.
That's
Anyways,
exciting.
back to Bourbon Street. So,
I'm lightheaded. No, so
how do we even get onto food?
Vegas. You asked about if I'm. Gonna
Oh, you
drink,
brought up-
And I said heart attack grill.
Yes,
and then-
yes.
Can I make a
Anyways,
deal with you though before we get off food? If you get your pro card, that you have to dip a French fry into an aioli.
What do I get
Don't be a
out of
puss
any
cat.
of this
You,
stuff?
you get a
literally-
delicious bite of food.
I literally win nothing.
We're
here.
just trying. And again, I don't fully agree with the whole AOE
Shut
thing,
it.
but
Shut it.
we're just trying to turn you on to new things of life that
You
you've
got. How
not
about you
yet
guys
tried.
have to do it together?
You don't
I'll do it with
think,
you, and you know I feel the same way you do.
You don't think the number of first things I'm already doing that weekend isn't enough?
Nope.
No.
We're trying to change
I'm
your life
literally
here.
flying for the first time, going west for the first time, competing in a national level show for the first time, competing in never mind. And like this is it's not enough first.
It'll be a
Now
big
I gotta,
weekend for
now
you.
I gotta drink. Now I gotta.
You're gonna
now I gotta
gamble for the
eat
first time, too.
Aioli. I've never gambled, and I don't think I should because I have an addictive.
You go to a strip club for the first
I
time?
have an addictive personality.
No fur
see?
coats allowed. Just saying.
I have way too an addictive personality for that.
For
So
the strip club or gambling?
aioli.
Oh,
So
I plead
All
the
of the
fifth.
above.
yeah. So again, not that
Pat's
we're
gonna come out just being like a drug addict, stripper addicted, aioli sipping, just like fat slob.
liquor sipping, aioli dipping,
Yes.
slob,
You need to title this episode that.
liquor sipping, aioli dipping.
Kate
With
Lane,
Kate Lane.
Greg, and
With
the
Kate Lane.
liquor sipping, aioli dipping, stripper addicted, fat slob
Man
Pat.
himself.
Yeah.
Yes, it'll be fun, guys. It'll be a nice little adventure when we get there. Maybe I will try it for you.
Maybe.
Let's just help me get there first. And
Okay.
Let's
Well,
try to win that
we're
thing.
trying.
Let's try to win that thing first.
We've done what we can for you, Pat. All right.
Listen, buddy.
Yeah, there's 3 weeks left. There's nothing we can do.
I know there's 3 weeks left.
I know.
3.5. Don't rush it.
Yeah, 3.5.
Not really, dude.
3.5.
It's 3.
3.5.
The workouts and
A
everything.
lot can happen from a Wednesday to a Saturday.
No,
This is
but
true.
we get on stage on Friday morning, so really, you're.
A lot can happen from a lot can happen from Friday
No, I-
6 a.m. till Friday 10 a.m.
I
Are
understand.
you 2 days? Prejudging
Yeah.
Friday? Oh,
That's rough, right?
So,
I've done that many times. It
regardless,
sucks.
um,
Regardless.
that's actually we could segue this into getting back the talk of this show getting back into show promoting.
Oh, yeah. Bring it on.
Because I don't want to bash anybody, but there was a talk that we will have off air after this about the show and things that are going on with it. And
a show you're doing?
Yes. And I won't
I don't
go
know what he's talking about. No, I probably participated in this conversation.
No, you didn't. This just happened over the past day.
Oh, okay.
And it's been other people who are competing, and this is talk that's been going on. And I think it's a great thing to talk about with having you here because you are a show promoter. Mm-hmm. And talking about the idea of athletes first versus show first and money first and things like that. And listen, bodybuilding, as much as it is for the athletes, is still a business that has to make money. And when you are the athlete, I understand because I can subjectively pull myself out of this conversation and sit here as an athlete and say, why can't shows do more for me? I worked really hard for X amount of time, and why can't people do more for me? It should be about me. But then I can also put myself back in the conversation as a business owner and say, well, that's not how the world works. It isn't just about you. It's about making sure that you have a decent time, and so do the other hundreds of people who are there. Yeah. So your likes, wants, needs don't really matter. Everyone matters. And making sure that the day goes smoothly matters. Not, oh, you don't want to compete 2 days because you got to get more tans. Oh, that sucks. Like, yeah, are those all things that every athlete has to hurdle in the sport of bodybuilding? Yeah. At some point you will. If you want to keep doing shows, you're going to have to navigate those things. I've done one-day shows where, and this is not here or there, I do this because we support a friend of ours. I might not use the show tan because I use a friend of ours who does tanning, right? Yeah. And I've gone and gotten like 4 coats of tan before a show. Meaning I'm paying for 4 coats of tan before a show. Is that ideal? No. This show tan would have gotten 1 the night before the show and then a touch-up the morning of the show, and I would have been good to go. And here I am trying to finish workouts and cardios 4 days before the show so that every day I can get a tan to be like... But that's just part of competing. Yeah. That is some of the sacrifices that you have to make. Yeah. Because the show, the promoter, the production team, whoever's putting the show on, it is still a business that has to work around the venue, the athletes, the judges, the coaches, the industry, the organization, for our sake, the NPC. You have to in IFBB that you have to work around all of these things, and sometimes it gets looked at in this almost spoiled sense of, I work so hard to get here. Why does this not work for me? And it's not for the sake of being somebody, again, pulling myself out of the conversation, being an athlete from other sports, the rest of our previous parts of my life. Like, it doesn't matter what you think or what you want. I remember playing college games at 9 p.m. I remember having college games at 7 a.m. the next day. I remember it didn't matter. Like, I couldn't sit there and say, well, I'm a college level athlete. Why do I have to go and play this late at night or this early in the morning? Guess what? That's when the field's available. Right.
So I have a question.
Only so many field space and so much time for certain things.
Right.
You do what you have to do, and no one ever sat back and were like, well, we worked so hard. Me. We worked so hard to get here, and now we have to practice at 7 a.m. or we have a game. Like, no, that's when the field's available. Do you want to practice and get better or not? What was your question?
So what side are you on before I voice my opinion?
I don't think I'm on either side. I think when I'm an athlete, obviously I can see why.
I can see the why an athlete would think those things and want it convenient for them. But on the flip side,
I don't. So
even stepping aside from being a business owner, I think that every athlete has to realize that they're given an opportunity, right? Even at the professional level, you are given the opportunity to represent yourself as a business, right? So you are marketing yourself by getting on somebody else's stage. Right. So you're going to do what's convenient for them. And if you don't like it, you don't get the opportunity to represent or market yourself.
I think what I should have...
You have to roll with the punches.
How I should have answered that was, even though I understand because I am a current athlete, and you guys are previous athletes, but I think as a current athlete, I understand where those arguments come from.
No,
but
I do get why someone would be like, wow, this is inconvenient for me. But at the same time, you are privileged to be able to go up and get the opportunity to present your package,
this is
right?
a hobby. This is
It's a hobby.
It's a hobby.
It's a hobby. Or even if you are a pro at the Olympia level and it is your job, right? But you are still handed that opportunity.
Yeah.
We are giving you this platform to market yourself and present yourself to be best in the world.
But even so,
you're going to deal with what we have to do as a business to let you do that.
A couple weeks ago,
what's your timeout? I'm cutting you off. What is your gripe? Like, what would you want changed?
No,
like,
sorry.
It's about, not you in particular.
No, I don't have
athletes. What would be your gripe?
I don't have a gripe. I don't have anything to change.
You started this by asking.
I want to segue this into
as a
getting
promoter.
more information from you as a promoter so people understand why these things happen. Because I just had the opportunity to speak with somebody a while ago, and they just competed at the 2022 Olympia. And I got to hear some insight of what it was like at the 2022 Olympia. And it wasn't
me, if you're wondering.
Greg, yeah, it wasn't.
I already knew that.
Oh, damn. My shoulders look good, though.
And
so.
it was stupid.
And that Inspire brand shirt, Mike Lacombe.
Shout out.
Scoop neck.
Mike Lacombe.
So, and I had the opportunity to speak and hear negative things about what the backstage setup was like and what these things were like. And again, even though I sympathized with the athlete in that moment, taking a step away from it, I still more so agree with well, guess what? This was the biggest Olympia to date. This was the most athletes they had ever had.
Like 85 classic physique guys or more.
It's some stupid number like
absurd.
that. So it was the biggest, highest numbered or highest athlete amount of all time at the Olympia. And instead of, and I'm not picking on this person, I promise, I'm not picking on you. Instead of being I got to compete at the biggest Olympia of all time, it was more so, can you believe they made us do this? Type of a thing, right? It was can you believe this is the conditions that we had, and these are what they treated us like, and this is what you're gonna.
Hey, buddy, I can believe it.
This is what you should expect. It was oh well, how? No, you don't.
Oh.
It was things like that, right? And it's from the outsider looking in, not an IFBB pro, not an Olympian, I had no ears for it. Because all I hear is, you're an IFBB pro
Olympian
who got to compete at the Olympia. Yeah. All I could think of in my head was, I will do anything.
I was going to say that's the ultimate goal. That's the dream of a bodybuilder, you know?
Oh, you want me to have to be backstage for 19 hours before I actually get on stage?
I'll do it.
I will do it. I currently, and you know this about me. Oh no,
she's up.
The baby.
She's awake.
You know this about me. We all complain. We all have first world problems. We all do it. I try not to though. I really do. I really try not to. If I have to eat dirt to get ready for stage, I'm gonna eat dirt to get ready for stage.
He's one of those that.
Same with me.
You could tell sometimes that maybe he's not the happiest or whatever, but
he'll do it.
Pat is not afraid to just shut the fuck up and do whatever has to be done.
But those, you're both coaches.
Yes.
Those are the best clients.
100%. I can see it in his eyes sometimes. It's Greg, go fuck yourself. Right?
I will pass out.
But he's
doing cardio. If I have
doing
to.
it.
I'm gonna do I'm not gonna stop until my body literally gives out. It's just I'm choosing to do this, and I set goals for myself for whatever it may be, to be the best, be the leanest, be the most whatever, and I'm not going to stop until I do that thing. So back to again the point at hand is, when I hear things like this, it's guys, I get it. I'm an athlete too. I've been there. I've been the guy who doesn't want to play I don't want to get up for soccer practice in college. We're 19, 20-year-old. Not a drinker, but all my teammates though, you got to remember, all these kids are going out and drinking all night long, and then we're supposed to be up at 6 a.m. for practice the next day outside in the cold in November before a playoff game. Do you think that's really ideal for the athlete? No, of course not.
But a battle as a coach, hey, if you want to be a professional soccer player, should you really be drinking the night before a game?
Nope.
Well, no, obviously not. But again, the battle of the coach is hey guys, this is a playoff game. We're going to play. We have a regional game, and if we win this, we're going to nationals. And then if you win nationals, now you got exposure, which leads to more, whatever, right? It had all these things, just like with bodybuilding. Is it ideal? Do you get that? No, it's never going to be ideal for you specifically. But the day is built around the athletes and making sure that all of them, whether it's a show of 50, 100, 150, 1,000 athletes, doesn't matter. Making sure everybody gets their chance and everybody gets to go up and show and display what they worked so hard for.
Right.
That is, I think, what gets missed sometimes. And when we're talking about that, I would love for you to shed some insight onto what some of those things look like. I don't know if you want to disclose information like how much venues cost, if you want to, but like, I would love to hear a little bit more about, one, how you got into show promoting. We've very quickly glossed over it last time. And then two, what it goes into being a show promoter, because we've talked about things before, like how the Wisconsin shows do a really good job of what they offer their athletes, right?
They do.
And like, I think people see that and they just think, well, then why doesn't everyone do that?
It becomes a pissing match.
Because it's not just that. And it's not just that easy.
Let's get into that. But first, like he said, let's talk about how you got into promoting. And from what you've made it clear in side conversation off air with him and I before is not just anyone can throw a show in the first place, right? So how does one get the honor of being able to be a promoter?
You know, I was cleaning mirrors
you
for
have
free.
to be kind of like sanctioned in, right?
You
like
kind of do. You got to be in. You have to show your loyalty. You have to show your respect for the sport. You have to always be there. You have to always show up. I mean, I was cleaning mirrors in the pump up room for free for a long time and offering to help at check-ins for free.
Because you would think as a business, right? The NPC would be like, oh, anybody wants to throw a show, here you go, throw a show, bring us money, right? But there's more to it, and I think people just don't see that, you know? They want the name to still be respected and honored and promoted in a healthy manner, right?
Right. And not having too much of a surplus. Like Florida, they cut their shows back. I think last year or 2 years ago, they had like 78 shows a year in the state of Florida. Wow. Well, now you're seeing these low numbers at every single show. So that like, it fucks with the business as a whole. You're getting a few people. The promoters can't afford to do that. Because that's another misconception is people think the NPC pays for it.
So by cutting shows though, why do you think that brought their numbers lower instead of more people showing up to those shows?
No, it's the opposite.
They were getting low numbers.
They were getting low numbers because there was such a surplus of shows.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
But back to how do you get into a show? You just be a part of the sport and show your loyalty.
Does that mean being a long-term competitor? Does that mean having to be a judge? Does that mean...
I'd say it's a combination of a lot of things.
Like if I said, hey, Kate, I want to throw my own show.
And I would say, let me talk to the boss.
Okay. Let's say it wasn't me, right?
Yeah.
It was someone you didn't like. Okay. No. But I'm saying like, can anyone just go in and be like, hey, you know what? We do think this person represents the NPC well.
Yeah.
Or is it more so, hey, we need to know that you have experience and that whatever it is, you know?
You know, I can only speak on how it's run in Illinois.
Okay.
So I don't know if other states, if you just go right to the chairman, some of them have gotten rid of chairmen. So you go right to the office and say, I want to promote a show. And they say, go right ahead.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Here are your guidelines.
You're either going to lose your
ass. Regardless, yeah.
Yep. But here, because we like to keep things kind of under control so that all of our shows get halfway decent numbers, we don't just allow, you can do a show, Pat, you can do a show too. Joe Schmo, you can do a show too. Because our boss, our state chairman, Chuck Sano, it's up to him. He's in charge of our state. He's also now in charge of Wisconsin. So.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Their chairman got and Chuck took it. If Chuck hadn't taken it.
Wow, it's storming out there. If anyone, I don't know how the lighting in this video is going to work, but it's a little dark
in here
than
dark in here.
Usual. It's storming like a motherfucker right now.
Our grass needs it. My grass is crunchy.
You saw mine. So
plants, not quite grass. Just
it's a little fucked up
Part of
right
my
now.
property's like that too. I get it.
But and Chuck, someone who does a great job always,
does.
right? I thought that because he's always typically like had judging out in Wisconsin, I thought it was just kind of like a favorite thing. Like, hey, like you guys help out here, we help out there. I didn't know that he is now the chairman of Wisconsin.
He is. He has been for a couple of years, I think, just because they lost their chairman. And if he didn't take it, then it would have been like they're kind of changing the way it goes.
Okay.
Massive areas are being chaired by one particular person. And by areas, I mean like regions, multiple states. But Chuck's always done
Which doesn't sound like such a bad thing.
It doesn't, it depends on who's in charge.
Well, right. But
and who would have been in charge.
But some uniformity also sometimes can go a long way.
Yeah.
It does. And that's why NPC is doing a great job over the last several years since I've been involved about uniformity.
Yeah.
They want like the order to be pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Not 100%,
Sure.
but like they want a lot of things to be uniform, which is why they came up with that muscle wear system. Now when you register, it's a computer. You did it for the last show.
I did.
Okay. You went online to register and there was a drop down muscle wear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
That's only a couple of years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before that, you send in your cash or money order.
Oh,
Yeah, back in
yes,
my day, that
absolutely.
didn't exist, you know?
Absolutely, yes, you
Not
did.
mine either.
I had to send a check or cash in. You're right.
Not anymore.
It was all brand new. Yes.
So they're trying to make it more uniform. You know what I'm saying? Everybody registers. The shows are essentially going to look and feel the same way across the United States. But Chuck's always done a really good job in advocating for our state. Keeps the drama out, keeps the office out.
Yeah.
If things need to be addressed, he addresses them. Just to let us do our thing.
Yeah.
Just let us do our thing. Where's I going with that? What do you want to know?
He was asking more so who could do it and how they could do it. But it seems like the
So-
honest answer is like, one, it's
Not
probably-
anyone can do it.
Not anyone
not
can do it,
anyone.
at least in our state. I don't know if it's like that in other states, but it was presented to me.
And it just seems like even if it is going to get presented to somebody, I think it sounds like it's going to be somebody who
They can trust.
loves the sport,
Yeah.
and is willing to work. Which, let's be honest, you said it was kind of how like you found your way into it because of who you knew and whatever type of thing.
Yeah, I
But
wanted to get involved, but it took a while to still.
It's that argument.
be-
It's that age-old argument of like, you know, like people are always like, "Oh, so he knew somebody." And he
Well,
that job
yeah.
because he knew somebody. But guess what?
It's still
when
not
you-
just like a favorite
Even when
thing.
you
It's-
know, even when
you know somebody, but they know that you've worked your ass off for this industry.
That's the thing.
Yes.
They all got to know me after years of not knowing me.
Yes, and it's like
You know.
we all know the guy that like we all have we know somebody who's hiring, and we could offer somebody up for that job, but we don't because that person isn't willing to work. So just because you know somebody doesn't mean you're automatically in.
Right.
You
For sure.
know somebody, you love the sport, but you're willing to work. You're willing to sit and work for free at check-ins. You're willing to sit backstage. You're willing to judge shows. You're willing to
I don't
do
think people
things.
realize that though. Is like all these people helping out at check-ins, spending their
Check-in
entire
is
day
free.
there. That's free.
It's free.
That's for the love of the fucking sport.
It is.
Yeah.
It
People-
really
yeah.
is. I love check-in day. I'll give up an entire day working because I work Fridays. That's a lot of money.
And that's a lot of money for you because Friday is one of your busiest days.
Yep. A lot of money.
But
and
it's
you do it
such
for
a
free.
fun day.
It is because I like that
love the
personal
sport.
connection with the
Yes.
athletes.
You get to see the people who get there. They're
You
excited.
do because I've been on their side where they're
Or maybe
nervous.
I was saying, or maybe they're
Yeah.
nervous, and you're like, "Hey, like, but you're
Do you
ready.
have any
like, this is
questions
great."
for me?
Yep.
Look at me
And
and
they-
a smiling face. and
Yeah.
it's not so scary here. You don't
Yeah.
have to come here
Yeah.
as intimidated and deer in headlight. Like it's okay.
I want to make our Illinois, Wisconsin, whoever comes, feel like they're not scared of us. A lot of people put on that hard ass face, like next in line, and it's like, how you doing?
And that's one of the things because I love it. And obviously, like being a family man now, business owner, like I've stepped away. Like I know I'm not a competitor myself anymore, right? But I've always wanted to be more involved, which is why I coach more and whatever. But I've always wanted to be like, hey, Chuck, hey, Michelle, hey, Kate, like
Yeah.
if you guys need help, let me know. But it's like, I know Fridays before when your guys' shows are doing check-ins, I'm by my phone nonstop working with my competitors, you know, and seeing, but like I want to feel more involved because I love it so much. And I know that what you guys are feeling, dealing with everybody there has to be so rewarding, but it's like, I'm not ready to give up that coaching side yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah. You're needed
my
where-
clients who are like,
Yeah.
they want an answer right then and there. I can't be sitting there with a line of people like, I'll get to you in a little bit. You know what I mean?
Hang on, I'll let you know
But-
what to eat at your next meal, but it was an hour ago because I'm doing weigh-ins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying about the excitement of the people being there, because I know just the handful of people I might have in a show, the excitement I feel for them being excited about their progress the day before or making weight on time or whatever it is, right? You having a plethora of people lined up expressing all that to you has to feel amazing, you know?
It's fun. I love check-in day. It's a calm, kind of the calm before the storm, because it is beyond stressful. Just being able to connect with every single athlete and almost kind of thank them when it's my show specifically. Really treat them well because they chose to do my show, and I want them to feel like from check-in to end of show night that they had a good experience and they felt like they were at least cared for. I know you spend a lot of money to get on stage for 5 fucking minutes, and there's only so much we can do because it's so expensive. Because it comes out of our personal pocket.
For sure.
That at least if they felt like they were seen, heard, talked to, cared about, I feel like that goes a long way. I can't give national level entries and plane tickets.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Right. And do I think it's necessary? I don't.
It's not necessary, you know, but it's something that I think at a certain point, you know,
I know
that
it could be something you strive for, but I think, like you said, at the end of the day, right now, you're
so desperately trying to talk.
Currently, just
he
trying
talks fast
to give what you can, and I think besides the sore losers that are taking, but that's
true.
You can't deny that those are always going to be there. Besides those that are upset that they lost, I think so far with all of your shows, everyone comes away with like, I got to do what I came to do. Yeah. I had a good time.
I've gotten unbelievable feedback.
Right. It's because you do such a good job with it.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, if that's something you wanted to do, not yet, right? And I also agree that I don't think it's necessary. I think that it may for some people. We know how expensive this sport may be. Yeah. And some people do handpick certain shows they're doing because they know that they may be at that level, but not able to afford going to that level.
Get it. But then
and that's why they may pick one show over the other.
I get it.
But at the end of the day, I still don't think that would be a make or break. People do your shows because they love you.
Yeah.
And they know that you do a great job doing what you fucking do. Right. But at the end of the day, what I meant by you're not there yet to where you could provide national level tickets or whatever.
I'd like to get there, but I still don't think it's necessary.
I was going to say, even if you do get to the point where you could, it doesn't mean that's going to be what you're going to do because you don't feel it's necessary, right? If people want to go to that level, they're going to find a way regardless, right?
And if you can't afford to do this hobby, you don't do it.
And that's what I was going to say. But when you're at the level where your shows are to the point where if you wanted to offer that you could, doesn't mean that you have to. But now you could take that money and you could put it towards doing something else for the competitors that you may feel is more optimal or more of a necessity to make an overall better experience. Because again, there's only a handful of people that are getting those overall tickets anyways, right?
6 or 7.
So what about everybody else? You may look at it and be like, hey, we're making X from these shows now. Instead of doing that, we're going to do something that's going to make it an overall better experience for
everyone.
Everybody.
I would rather spend that money and cater in and backstage. There's not just like the cookie table or just pizzas, fucking food.
Yeah.
Food.
Because everyone's going to be happy.
Everyone will be happy. Only 7
and I'll
people.
for sure get a coach's pass then.
Yes, you dick. You need your NPC card now. Everyone will be happy. Everyone feels like they're special. Everybody feels like, sweet, they had food. Like the Gladiator and Mid-Illinois, they do that. Not the Mid. Chuck and Michelle shows.
Yeah.
They do pizzas. By the time you get off stage, though, they might be freezing fucking cold. Illinois State.
There we go.
And they've got Karen with her sweet table, and people appreciate that. But then by the time Bikini gets off stage, there's no pizza left, and it's freezing
gone,
cold.
yeah.
You know, we go up and steal a whole pizza because we're fucking starving.
Deserved.
Man, we're hungry. But like something like that, like full-blown catering table with hot food. Tim Gardner would do a pretty good job of that. They'd set the whole thing up and have heat lamps. So everybody who gets off stage still gets to eat. Whatever. All we care about is the food.
Hey, listen, band preps. We don't mind coming in. We'll cook whatever you want.
I know. We have to talk about that.
All right, we'll talk about it.
We'll have to talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah. I was thinking about that today.
We're on a little bit of a hold right now.
Okay, because your dad.
Yeah. We started earlier than we should have. We knew that he was potentially going to need another operation done. But he was just getting stir crazy. He's not used to sitting at home. He's old school. He's worked hours his whole life. So being retired now, he can't sit still, right? Yeah. So we jumped the gun and it kind of worked against him physically. So it got to the point where now he actually did stem cell treatment and stuff like that because they were like, hey, listen.
I'm a donor.
There you go.
I am.
Maybe he's got yours, you know.
Hey.
It was either he had to have another spinal fusion, which he's had 3 already, or he had to do stem cell. So he did stem cell, and he's already feeling amazing. He used to, ask Pat, he used to walk like hunched over, and like now he's standing up straight. He's like,
I've never seen him stand up this straight. And this was when like days after him having surgery. Yeah. He like walked in like
How long ago was surgery? I cut you off.
Probably just over a month. Yeah.
Did he have any issues with like graft versus host?
No.
No shit. No.
It was like 3 days later, and he walked in, and he was like,
yep.
And I was like,
and I guess
looked at him like, what?
It's supposed to, I guess, happen. I guess I've obviously never done stem cell, but from what he was explaining, that immediately like it takes down the inflammation at the site, right? So a problem from all of his spinal fusions is he has a ton of nerve damage from inflammation. So it's helped a ton to the point where he's not getting the nerve damage, so his legs aren't getting as numb, his back isn't swelling up, so he's feeling a lot better, but they still want him to kind of keep activity minimal for at least another month. Of course. And then we're going to get going again. But he's still, I'm like, why'd we even stop? Because now he's like, he keeps making shit. We were on vacation, I came home, and he had just a bunch of, hey, I made these carbless, sugarless protein cookies, try them out. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Does he listen to us?
My dad doesn't know what a fucking podcast is. Are you serious?
I was so mad at him the other day because I came here to help out with the dogs, and this freaking guy, I came in and I saw there's cookies and stuff everywhere. He was baking, and I go, this freaking guy is supposed to.
You stop making my chicken.
Yeah, you're making my prep harder, and you're over here still cooking away. And I said, the least.
But it is different. He's not.
Right.
People don't realize that with a meal prep company, hey, yeah, we have 2 pickup days. People thought, oh, you and your dad only work 2 days?
No.
Well, no. 1 day is taking down all the orders, doing all the tallying, figuring out all the proportions, whatever. No. Then you got to go shop for everything. He's carrying 25 boxes of 25 pounds of chicken to the car. And then from there, the next day is prepping everything. The next day is cooking everything. So it's still a 6-day-a-week job. Yeah. We were doing 500 meals a week. Like, it's not like it was just nothing. You know what I mean?
Does he have a kitchen space he rents out?
So he was renting from a friend. But that's one of the things that with this downtime, not to take this off of Kate, I'm sorry, but you walked away for a little bit, and who am I to not talk about myself, right? So
sure. I get it.
We had with this downtime, we're looking for a place our own. We want to find like an old pizzeria that like went out of business, that has everything that we need kitchen wise, and then just grab it for, you know, a good price and be able to fully
rent.
Yes. And that was one of the struggles too, was like we were getting so busy that we needed to hire people, but when we're renting space, it's kind of hard because we didn't have a set schedule. Because one weekend they'd be like, "Hey, we have catering parties this day. You can't come until X time."
Right, kitchen's only open, whatever.
Yeah, so to have employees that are on call, you can't really do that. You know, hey, you're gonna work this Saturday at maybe 9 a.m., maybe 3 p.m. You know, like, yeah, not gonna work.
That's frustrating. That's a lot of hoops.
Anyways, we'll be back. So
good.
Back to show promoting.
Back to it. It's stressful.
What would you say the biggest pros and cons are?
That's such a vague question.
Let her speak.
Cons. The expense. Like I said, it's personal pocket.
Yep.
Probably costs upwards of $30,000 to do a little show.
I believe it.
Even with nobody showing up, still going to cost you $30,000. Con is just the stress. Hoping that you remembered to get everything done, do everything, label every fucking trophy, count your numbers, praying to God people sign up and you can at least make your money back.
I don't just want to make sure people understood. Number one, she said, label every trophy.
Label every trophy.
They have to do all that themselves. They don't just come like that.
They don't. And let me tell you, just the labels are probably $1,500. Just labels.
I believe it.
Trophies themselves.
And B, she said to hopefully break even.
Yeah. It's
So-
a terrible business model.
Run-
People get into this truly out of the love and passion of it, not because it's a moneymaker.
It's not. It could be, but the more athletes you have, the higher expenses are. You need
sure.
to have more shirts, more labels,
Yep.
more trophies.
People love numbers.
Yeah.
So let's run through some, like, you hear, someone's going to hear that and go like 30, and they want to know. So like,
30K.
what's a venue? You've had 3 different venues? 4?
4, which is why I'm like, I quit if I have to
Yeah.
search for another venue because that's nearly impossible. People don't want to.
So that none of them get outed. The average cost per venue between the 4 of them.
Average cost. Another reason why we want to stay where we're at. I would say more around like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus
Okay.
thousand.
So call it
So a third
an
of that-
average, at least 10.
Yeah.
Sure.
At least 10 for your venue.
Sure.
a
And then
third-
like Chuck and Michelle have to pay a city of Chicago like entertainment tax.
No shit.
Yeah.
Fucking Chicago.
So
Ridiculous.
Just
We
alone,
don't.
guys, 10 grand just to get the venue. Right?
Trophies, thousands.
Thousands.
Everything is thousands.
And
Everything.
as far as from what I think I understand,
Yeah.
is it's way more expensive to buy a trophy with the nameplate and tag already on it, which is why
can't
you
even
guys
do that.
which is why you do it separately.
You
Because
have to do
buy
it separate.
Yeah.
You it doesn't matter if it's a medal, a figurine, those cups. I love those cups. Those are expensive. They're separate. Labels
So
are
you have to
separate.
set those things up on your own.
Separate.
How about the tanning and the makeup and
Yeah.
hiring those people to run those sort of things for you guys?
So that's finding people that you trust and know, and then they kind of handle it themselves. But if you bring on the wrong makeup team and every single female had a bad experience,
It
it reflects on your
you.
show.
Yeah.
Right. So without a shadow of a doubt, I will never leave Megan Malone, her makeup team. They treat our athletes like gold. Like gold. They are organized, they are wonderful, and they treat everyone with fucking respect.
And that's what you want.
That's what I want.
You don't pay them directly.
We
though,
don't
right?
pay them, they don't pay us. I don't
You
want
make
a
an
thing
agreement
from
with
you.
them.
Yep.
And then they charge what they want to charge. They
Yep.
pay directly, and that's it.
Yep.
Okay.
Same with tanning. I want a team that I know is going to do a good fucking job, because if they don't do a good job, it reflects on me. They don't think it's the tanning company. They think it's my show, photographer included. All those people are independent. They do their own thing.
Speaking of tanning, while we're on that topic,
Bring it on.
do you, as a, not just a promoter, but as a judge,
Judge on a tan.
do you prefer that
Mm-hmm.
every person is getting tanned by the same person?
No.
Or
No.
do you guys look, because like, I feel like as a judge, it may be easier to look at everybody on stage and
They
they
look the
all look
same.
the same.
It is.
Opposed to this guy has pro tan on, even though you're not supposed to. This guy may have dream tan on.
Stupid.
These people were sprayed. These, like,
Yeah.
how much, so the people know, I know these answers because
Yeah.
we've had conversations before. How much of a role does the tanning actually come into play?
Huge. It literally says on your judging criteria, skin complexion. You are being judged on your fucking tan. And people who try and do their own fucking tan, I could name so many, and their own makeup and their own hair, and it's splotchy, it's green, it's not dark enough, it will count against you the day of the show. Would I prefer everybody is the exact same color? Not necessarily. I don't care if you're a little more brown.
Right, too many different skin tones and
Different
and
tones,
shades and
don't
stuff
care,
like that.
as long as it's dark and even.
Yep.
I don't care. Another judge might have another opinion. I don't care, but you can absolutely tell. You're like, oh, the sponsored tanning company did it them fucking selves. Dream Tan, stop doing Dream Tan.
Were mine ever that bad?
Do people,
Were mine ever that bad?
No,
the only feedback I've ever gotten from you was light.
too
It could be
late.
darker,
Not
but your
dark
tan has always been even. You've never been blotchy. You've never
be
turned
dark.
green.
Yeah.
That's it.
I've turned green, but skin prep is a big part
Yeah,
of it.
that's
Yeah.
part. That's almost personal. That's like
It's-
if you didn't do the work yourself. Of course,
For
you're
sure.
gonna have
Yes.
every tanning place.
Listen.
I know all
Has a
of
skin
them
prep.
tell you exactly what you're
And
supposed to do.
people are ignorant,
Yes.
and they don't fucking follow it. The same people that didn't follow their diet.
Yes.
Yep, 100%.
I told someone about deodorant, and I was like, "Yeah, no, I put deodorant on 2 days before my tan, and it ruined my tan." And they're like, "What do you mean 2 days before?"
2 days
I was
before.
like, "Because I didn't scrub my armpits with a scrub
And baking
they
soda.
bled.
and baking soda
Yeah.
until they bled for 2 days before the show. My armpits turned green, and they were like, "It's that serious?" I'm like,
Well, when you do a
Yes.
front double bicep and your armpits are literally that fucked up,
"It's that
you're like,
serious."
"Ugh." It is.
And it's just, listen, we all sweat. We all do this. We all have bodily, like, you have to do, they don't make these requirements up. They're not just like,
Listen, you're a
they're not just
bodybuilder
like-
2 days out of a show. Nobody wants to be around you anyways. If
I
you
just
smell,
mean-
who gives a fuck?
You're a miserable
You're by yourself.
No,
yeah.
not even that. I just mean like they didn't make up 5 days before the show starts scrubbing. They didn't
For
just
no
pull
reason.
that number out of anywhere to make you more miserable than you already are. They're telling you for a reason
Yes.
because it's going to make you look better on stage.
People don't like to read or listen.
well
As a promoter,
It's also more
nobody
People can't
reads.
read.
It's more work.
They choose not to. They can't in their eyes and brain, but they actually know how to if they even made fucking sense. People will
It makes
email
sense.
me. So if you go on the show website, you have to scroll all the way to the bottom, past all the information, contact
That
us.
you should be reading. Hey,
Contact.
They
us.
will literally say, like, what time does the show start? Well, you scrolled right fucking past it to get down to contact me. Nobody reads.
It's laziness. It's not.
It's-
It's not.
Makes me want to blow my brains out.
Laziness.
speaking of the emails, skipping past Tan here. What kind of money goes into marketing the shows?
Well, you have to
Is it
pay.
easier now that a lot of it's through social media and stuff like that?
It is. And still a lot of promoters like send out posters. We do that here and there, but I feel like
If you have posters, let me know.
we do have posters. I'll send
take
you
some.
But there was probably used to be way more legwork of like
You had
traveling to
to-
gyms, traveling to
Not
supplement
even
stores,
that.
traveling
Yeah.
to.
You had to contact the NPC office and get the addresses of everybody within 100 miles of your location or your surrounding states. So my very first show was old school way. And it was, I want all the NPC registered athletes from Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Iowa. Thousands of those came in, and I sat. Then you have to pay for those. Then you have to pay for thousands of envelopes, and you have to pay for thousands of postage stamps, and you have to fold those motherfuckers and put them in there, and you have to mail them all.
It's like wedding mailers.
Literally.
I still get them. There are still some shows
Less.
that
None of us in Illinois
that do
it
direct
anymore.
mail where
Yeah.
you still get a letter. It's never an Illinois show.
Never.
It's
We
always
don't do
like
it anymore.
Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
And I'll be like,
God bless.
wow,
Their
good for
numbers are
you
low.
guys.
Yeah.
Like, but they're trying. They're putting.
And that's the thing.
they're
And
putting
now it's
legwork in.
really just social media.
Yeah.
So that's helped, but you still have to pay your graphic designer to update your website, to update your poster, to make whatever changes.
Mm-hmm.
That costs
Thousands.
thousands.
It's all thousands.
Because then you need a specific graphic for your backdrop, for the poster, for a T-shirt. You have to take your same image and you want it to be T-shirt printable.
We just talked about T-shirts.
A lot of money.
Lot of money for T-shirts.
A lot of money. And the more athletes you have, the more you spend.
And-
And,
Guess
and what
what,
people
guys?
don't realize too is, God,
You're not paying your $100 registration fee or whatever, 110. What is it nowadays?
$115 for a state level show.
$25 of that is not for the T-shirt.
no.
It's not. None of it's for
so
the T-shirt.
The T-shirt isn't getting
The
paid for.
T-shirt
The
is
T-shirt
essentially-
it's free.
It's marketing.
It's out of pocket marketing. That is all that it is.
I mean,
Correct.
So the thousands.
Your
of
registration
dollars-
is paying for my staff and my venue.
I've made a lot of shirts. Hell, I had a clothing company for 3 years.
Yeah.
I know what shirts cost, and I've bought shirts at every one of your guys' shows.
God bless
and
you.
I know you guys aren't making money on the shirts.
No.
People
Just
don't
trying to
realize
break
that.
even.
Yes,
Yep.
trying to break even. It's marketing. It's people walking around with your shirts on.
Mm-hmm.
So every show, what do we buy, Pat? 2 or 3 of each of them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like
I buy my mom, my dad one. I buy Rosie two. I buy myself.
No, fuck that. I buy
I like these
myself.
ones.
I buy myself
right?
2, and I buy Michelle 1. Right? But
No, but
I want to support, right? And I know
Yeah.
you guys aren't making money on them, and people don't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I would be very surprised if many people are actually walking away from hosting a show putting a ton of money in their pocket. That, you know, and I hear competitors, oh, they just want another dollar. They want this. They want that. Hey, fuck you, because without them, you wouldn't be able to do this.
That's the
have no
thing.
outlet.
It's like, right, y'all want to complain, but you can't show off your hard work if I don't spend 30 grand of my personal
Yeah.
fucking money.
To hope
y'all.
to get it back. That is
Pray to
money
God.
you are spending in advance.
It's so stressful. My husband and I, the only thing we fight over is talking about the show. Is the
Believe it.
fucking show.
But you'd still do it because you fucking love it.
And every year we were like, we're done. I'm going to tell Chuck I'm fucking done. And then every year we do it
you
again.
finish the
Yeah.
show and you're like,
I know. We're like, do we make money? Cool. Let's go get Portillo's.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And celebrate
That was great.
with our
Let's do it.
winnings.
Let's do it again. Yeah.
It really, and then, I mean, at least we're at the point where even the big timers, like, you know, whatever our profit is, because the money you
It's
spend it
probably
in advance.
Put in an account to go towards your next show.
Literally, the day after the Mid Illinois, we literally bought bags, swords, which we're not allowed to have anymore.
Really?
What?
Oh my God. Bought a bunch of stuff.
That's a thing?
It's out.
By who?
The office. We got
Really?
an email about a month ago and we already bought ours. They were about $1,000 for fucking swords just for the overalls.
Is it because there's been fights at shows?
That's our guess. Whenever Chuck calls the office and gets the backstory, now we have to rope off the judge's table. Because somebody tried to hit or beat up a judge.
Somebody
I'm going to get killed if I'm not allowed to be talking about this.
Somebody call Florida.
With a medal. They were mad about their placement, so they went after the judge's table. So now we have to not only pay for security at the judge's
you
table,
are fucking
rope it off.
joking.
Not kidding. Not kidding. We have to rope off the judge's table and have security standing there.
Was that in Illinois?
No, it was not in Illinois.
What happened to good dignity people who just fight in the parking lot? Like
They're liberals.
I just don't get it.
And we went there.
It
Amen.
used to be so simple. It used to be you just look somebody.
You can't fight in the parking lot. You got to fight in the venue lobby
you just
itself.
Look somebody in the eye and say, outside.
Well, that
You,
just happened though.
me.
Didn't a fight happen in Illinois recently?
It certainly did.
It was right after we left. Remember, I saw people post on Instagram. I never got detail about it.
Mm-hmm.
But did it? Were you there or no?
I was
Did it-
judging.
Did it physically happen, or was it like just a verbal altercation?
One person physically punched somebody else in the face, and then a large altercation followed.
Really?
In the venue.
Was that?
In the venue, in the
venue,
lobby,
in the
front
lobby?
of athletes, in front of patrons, in front of children. Yeah.
Couldn't wait till they got
Was it?
outside.
Was it people from the crowd, or was it actual competitors, or
It was no competitors. It was coaches.
Okay.
Thank you for doing that. I have no idea why, but that made me feel so much better about me
yeah.
being a coach
'Cause not all
without a parenthesis.
Coaches would behave in that manner.
She never says Pat.
Yeah. So now I feel really good.
At least in front of your face, right?
That's true. She probably does that when she goes home.
Yeah. So I went by Greg and Pat.
Yep. She was, Greg and I did a podcast, and Pat was there. Yeah. Jeez.
It's because you don't drink, dude. You know.
It's street credit.
It's literally like
one
drinking
day.
a campfire.
It
I
literally
listen,
is.
I believe you. I really, really
Can you really
do.
smell it?
I smell it all the time.
He does smell it. He wondered why there was no French stops in this one.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not that expression.
Got it. I get it. I'm learning.
Yeah.
Listen, I am
Learn
learning.
away, but learn
I
while you
am-
drink it.
I am learning.
In 3 weeks. 3.5 weeks.
3.5.
So
Don't rush me, all right?
there's
He's already pressured me enough, right?
I'm going to get it all on Friday. All right, go ahead.
there's a lot of money that goes into this.
A lot.
There is a lot of upfront stress and work that goes into it.
Blood, sweat, tears, and
Literally.
To see the athletes have a good time.
That's all I care about.
That's it.
That's all I care about. As long as I break even,
And I
break
think,
even.
Yeah.
I don't care if I spent 30 as long as I made it back and did not profit a dime. I go up to every single athlete multiple times throughout the day. How you doing? You okay? Do you need anything? Don't worry. Don't be nervous. Let me see your front double bicep. Because I'm the backstage person running around. I check on all my judges. I check on my staff. That's my job now.
What's your favorite part about hosting? Is it just seeing everything just kind of unfold, or is it just being backstage with all the competitors and letting them know that you're there for them? Like, what do you love the most out of it?
I would say it's that because, you know, I have a good team. So I trust my team. I trust my judging panel that my team is going to run it smoothly and with respect because that's a thing. I send them all a text. I'm like, if I get one fucking complaint, you're out. If you have to be stern with somebody about like, hey, get in line. If you don't say it with respect, you're fucking out.
Awesome.
I don't care. It's their athlete experience that is going to matter at the end of the day. So you can be stern, but say it with a smile.
Right.
I think it's mainly just getting to know people, checking in on them, seeing their excitement, maybe even consoling somebody who didn't get the placement they wanted,
Yeah.
and encouraging them, and just seeing it all happen, I guess.
Do you have a favorite show that you've done so far?
maybe the Odeum, because it was my first show and it was bittersweet.
And I was going to ask, was it your biggest show that was your favorite, or was it your first show because it was more sentimental, or,
Maybe there's a mix. Like the first show, kind of sentimental. I had a brand new baby, so I did all of that, not sleeping through the night. So that meant a lot to me, and it meant a lot to me that the show was given to me, that they entrusted me with it, and we were very successful in that show.
Did it feel real going up to it, or not until like that show day? Yeah.
Didn't till the show day, terrifying. Until there's a picture somebody snapped of me and Jason standing in the very back of the entire crowd, with our arm around each other, just watching it all happen, standing room only. And I was still so sleep deprived, I don't even remember what fucking happened that day.
Please tell me that you have that framed or something.
Not framed, but I've got it.
Okay,
I've got it.
You better.
Literally, we were both so stressed out, and we came away way ahead, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
So that really put a hit.
That was
on-
right before COVID.
Right
That was
before.
what, September, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then here came the COVID.
Yeah.
And destroyed a lot of things. I feel like we're still recouping from it a little bit.
That was probably my favorite Illinois show thus far.
It
know
was
what?
fun.
It wasn't a show I was in. I only had 2 clients in it, so
Yeah.
it wasn't like a big show for me, like, with, and again, no offense to these clients, but it was, 2 bikini girls, and like,
Yeah.
I love bodybuilding, you know what I mean? Like, there
Rose
was
was one of them.
And I remember being in that show and just embracing it. Like, the whole experience was amazing. I was so happy for my girls. And I was like, this is Kate's show. Like, this is fucking awesome,
I know.
Like, it was cool. And I remember watching you and Jason there. And Jason
Really?
was all over the place, too. He was helping you so much. I'm like, this is fucking awesome,
Yeah. We were
He
running
was
around
working the door.
clueless.
He was coming up front. Like, it
He
was
still
very
likes
cool
to be
see.
the doorman to collect all the money. And now I learned a lot from that show because I ran around so much and was like almost I was nervous. And now I still walk up to my judges and just call me, do you guys need anything?
Yeah.
You need anything? How's it going? Cool. I walk up to my photographer. Do you want a water? Go to the back. Go through the
You're
whole
kinda
line
everywhere.
Everywhere. I'm not sitting still for 1 second. Jason parks himself and collects money at the ticket booth because that's his thing. And I just make sure everybody's okay.
Somehow you were backstage, and then when I got to the stage, somehow
I
you
was
were at
on
the
stage,
and I was
without a
"How
doubt.
the heck is she
I only
so-"
yelled at an expediter one time this last time. I was like, where the fuck are you?
So
That was
as
it.
a competitor at her
At my show.
what do you feel she did differently that just made the experience overall just...
I want to know because they're all so.
I remember you doing that show, and
Yeah.
you've done a lot of shows at this point. I remember you doing that show and saying how great the experience was. So what made it different to you?
Yeah, I want to know because they're all really truly modeled from what I've learned working other people's shows.
I think it was just, again, it was you just like with your business, we talked about this last time we were on the podcast. You give off a certain energy that people thrive off of.
She's like, I know.
You
I like
are,
that.
You are what you're a reflection of your business.
Yeah.
And these shows are your business, and they scream Kate Lane, and they're an example of you. Just like when you walk into the warehouse gym, it screams Greg Lovato. Like they're reflections
Because it's rugged.
of you.
So rugged, man.
Always has something to say. But that's you being there, you being yourself,
Yeah.
you being everywhere. Anyone who's met you in person, anyone who's posed with you knows that you can't sit still.
Yeah, they
knows
do.
that you're moving all over the place, knows that you're energetic and you're lively and you do care. So being there, you just felt that everywhere. Even though I just said you were everywhere, but you physically can't be everywhere at once. But somehow that whole day, it did feel like
No matter
were
where you
everywhere.
popped up, you saw
Yes.
her getting involved.
Whether I was
Right.
getting oiled up by somebody that's not you, I still felt your presence. Whether I was backstage getting pumped up, I still felt your presence. Whether I was on stage listening to Chuck tell us to do a quarter turn or turn to the back, I still felt your presence was there the whole time, and it felt like a representation of you.
That makes you feel good.
And that's what you do so well, and I don't think that's a tangible thing.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a
Yeah, you can't duplicate somebody's energy.
Yeah.
You can't mimic being genuine and being yourself.
Truth. Truth.
And that's a deep thing for me to say, and I hate saying corny deep.
He doesn't like giving compliments.
Why?
And that's not
You
that-
just gave me a lot of compliments. I
don't
appreciate
like giving
it.
them. I also don't like cliche,
You
corny
filled my
things.
cup a little bit.
I don't like corny
Well,
stuff
me
like
neither,
that.
but sometimes they work.
But that's that's what we would.
That's
tell.
how you know he meant it, though.
We would
Hey.
tell anybody that though. Like, oh, you want to be the best version of yourself? Guess what?
Yeah.
Be you.
It's
Don't
true, though.
try to be
Yeah.
somebody else to be the best version of
It
yourself.
is corny,
that's-
but I tell
so-
clients that
And that's
all
what you
the
see
time.
a lot in this industry in general, whether you're a competitor, a coach, a judge, a host, whatever, is people trying to do things that other people do to just duplicate them
Mimic
and be something
somebody's
else.
transitions.
But you can see when it's not them.
Yeah,
you know?
it's so obvious.
Absolutely.
You have to be just true to yourself. And that's when people are going to revolve themselves around you. You know what I mean? They're going to want to be included. They're going to want to be involved because they know that you are you.
Yep.
And even though you learned from Chuck and Michelle and you've mentored under them and you work with them very closely on a day-to-day basis
Yeah.
and you're at all of their shows, this isn't negative towards you or towards them. But when you go to a Chuck and Michelle show, you're like, this is a Chuck and Michelle show.
Yeah.
When you go to a Kate Lane show,
Yeah.
you're like, this is a Kate Lane show.
I like
But
that.
that's how it should be.
When you
It
go to
should be. It
Wisconsin,
has to be unique.
And
Kevin
again,
and Stacey.
Yeah, Kevin and
this
Stacey.
This is a Kevin and
and
Stacey
again,
show.
Kevin and Stacey do a great fucking
do a
job.
great
Chuck and
fucking
Michelle do a
job.
great fucking job. And guess
All
what?
different.
Kate Lane does a great fucking
Yeah.
job.
We all
But
have
that's
our
what he's saying is
specifics that we
they're,
want.
They're different, but you walk into each one, you have a great experience.
It's
but
true.
You know who it is. And guess
Yeah.
what? We've been to bad shows. We're not going to
Same.
name the shows. We're not going to name the competitor
Nope, no
or
need.
the promoters.
No
but
need.
You know who's doing what,
Uh-huh.
you know? And the fact that you've gone, you've learned, hey, what do I want to take from them? What do I want to add or
Right.
what have
and I'm
you?
still learning.
Yeah.
We're still like,
And
how should I
you're-
do the fucking trophies at
You're
night?
doing a great job, though.
Yeah,
you
thank
know?
you.
And it's awesome.
It's very
And
stressful.
It's great to see him
Yeah.
as a coach and a competitor give that feedback. You know,
It really is. And I really
he's
truly
done both
ask-
sides of it.
Right. And I go backstage and ask the athletes literally like, how's today going for you? Like, I want to know.
Yeah.
I really do. Because I can't improve if my athletes, one person has a fucking gripe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless it's something I absolutely couldn't control.
Well, you could improve because but if it's something that could be in your control, you could be
Right.
okay.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
what could I have done different?
Right,
But majority of the
tell me.
time, they're having a bad time not because of you.
Because I didn't place.
It's because of themselves or because of their coach or whatever the reason it may be.
Yeah.
But the fact that you even care already makes
do.
that bad experience for them better.
Right.
Yeah, let's not blame it on just the placing. There are so many things in bodybuilding that can go wrong from your
Oh,
coach.
yeah. It's
from your
raining,
personal
your tan
life,
gets
your-
fucked up.
whatever it is.
Whatever.
So it's
Piss
very
splattered, whatever. You know?
it is very easy
happens.
for something to go wrong. And
It
it's not
is.
always from your guys' standpoint,
Right.
but you do a great job of making sure that
Yeah.
you're hoping that whatever it is something you can control, you can make it better.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because you know that
Then
there
I
are
can fix it for
you
them,
know there
for
are
sure.
so many
Yeah.
uncontrollables. So let me come here and help make
Yep.
sure I can take care of any of the controllables that
Yeah,
I can. So
that's true.
It is a very, very
Stressful thing.
it's stressful. It
I
wasn't.
can't stress the stress enough.
That
It's
wasn't the
awful.
word I was looking for
I know
to
you weren't.
describe it, but it is super stressful, and it is a very selfless thing that you go in doing.
Yeah.
And this is not to say because you don't run every show.
No.
Kate doesn't run every show. This is not to say
But I'm
that there
there.
aren't some promoters that make a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are promoters that have made a lot of money, but that's
Oh,
because
yeah.
they put the grunt work.
The
just
potential
like,
to
just
make
like
money is there.
How long has
Takes
Chuck
time.
been doing it? Promoting shows, not just involved in the NPC or IFBB, but promoting shows. What would you
Well,
say?
I've been doing this sport for 17 years, and he was promoting shows then.
It's
He was
just
our chairman then.
just like there are.
Is there potential to make a shit ton of money?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Are there trainers that don't make good money?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are there trainers that make great money?
Yeah. Are there professional? If there are the IFBB pros that make $0?
Me?
Yep. Are there
Wow.
IFBB pros that make lots of dollars?
Yeah.
Yep. So just like that, are there show promoters that make a lot of money?
But it's
Sure,
again,
there are.
Yeah.
those IFBB pros, it's what did they put into it? Those show promoters, it's what did you put
Odds
into
are-
it?
right. Odds are the
trainers,
pros, the
what
trainers.
did you put into it?
Yes.
Right.
So
It takes time, patience, but money will never come if you don't have a true passion and
I
love
know.
for what you're doing.
And that's the scariest part. It's like, you can't make, that saying, you have to spend money to make money. Fuck. It's scary.
Yeah,
but it's
no,
true.
it's 100% scary, I'm sure. Which is why not everybody does it or can do it, you know?
Wow, you can't.
Yeah. Well, that
if you're
too.
not in the
A
know.
lot of
Yeah,
people
you
can't
got to
jump.
be in the know.
It's hard. A lot of
Did
people.
a
you
lot of
just
people
say
can't
white
jump.
people can't jump?
I was just gonna say, were you talking about
I
white
said
people?
a lot of people, but a lot of people. Sure,
talking about
white
race
people-
again.
White people too can't jump, but no,
It's-
a lot of people can't make that jump.
No,
they
and
can't.
I've had
And
so many
that's-
people like, I want to promote a show. What can I do? Can you talk to Chuck? And I'm like,
Nope, because you don't got it.
you don't got it. And let me tell you, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
It's just not that easy. I mean, you have to literally
But I think though too,
stuff
though,
every bag and
I think a lot of people want to do it because they think there's money to be made.
Correct.
And again, like you
There
said,
can be.
long term there can be,
Yeah.
right? But I think a lot of people, just like bodybuilding, want to promote a show for the wrong reasons. They're not
Yeah.
doing it because of the love.
Clout.
They're looking at dollar signs and clout, and they're saying, "Oh, well, this
Heck,
could blow
yeah.
up my Instagram, and
Forget
hey, I can make another income
I
from
could get
this."
more clients
Hey, guess
from
what? You
this.
probably won't.
if you were a good coach, you would get more clients.
Yeah.
Forget the direct dollar thing that goes along with it. It's the vein, like I get to put my name on this building of this show of this thing that I'm doing, and like look at me.
Mm-hmm. Right. And it's like,
a
listen,
very-
dude, you're running a business inside
Right.
somebody else's fucking
It's-
business.
it's
It's the
like,
NPC.
Hey, look at me. Just like the people who get on stage. Is most of the time, unfortunately, it's not for the love of bodybuilding. It's for the love of, hey, look at
Yeah, it's
me.
true.
And it's not so
We
much
could have a
like
whole nother episode diving into the psychological.
Oh my God, we could have 20 episodes on the psychological.
we sure fucking could.
but that, and that's kind of what it, unfortunately it does boil down to is
It does.
it won't change but that's I'm glad that we got to have this discussion because it isn't just black and white, and it isn't just like, no, you just asked to do a show, you
No,
do a
it's
show,
so much work.
the NPC pays for it, and you get to take home all the dollar bills that you
You
make.
have to pay the NPC essentially twice. You have to pay them your sanction fee, which covers your insurance, and then at the end of the day,
Yeah.
a percentage of your entries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you pay them twice, which
They're
is fine.
they're the real organization.
They
deserve
are
it,
the
though.
reason why
Yeah.
I am able to do this.
Just like the competitors to you guys, the promoters
Yeah.
are the reason why they can do it.
Right?
Same
you got to
thing.
pay us.
Yep.
And sorry, the numbers went up because now we have to pay that double tax. We have to pay it
Yeah.
to the credit card with PayPal
Yeah.
and then to Muscleware System NPC, et cetera. So sorry, your fee went up.
And
Right?
throughout the time, everything's improved though. Lighting is improved, music is improved, the photography, videography, all of
our
that is
photographers
improved.
are so
you know,
good. Yeah.
like it's all gone
And
up
now-
so much.
Like we do crazy goodie bags, and
Yeah.
I feel like, sorry you guys, the other Illinois shows have kind of bumped their goodie bags after we did them, because as an athlete I'm like, what do I want? Fucking, I paid a lot of money to do this. I want free fucking shit.
Yeah.
And not everyone, well, only 7 are going to get an overall. So at least you can go home with a goodie bag with a water bottle, a shirt, candy, cookies, chips, and nonsense.
Let's be real too, not to get political, not to go that way. We could.
You can.
We
No,
can.
I know we could.
I am going to get there. I have some questions,
I
but
know
I was getting here first.
I know
Oh,
we
okay.
could, but we don't have. We're gonna watch our time this time. Last time.
We're going to talk.
So
She's here in the flesh.
Here I am, right
what,
here.
what I was gonna say was, and I have no idea. Political.
Not to get too political, but, and then we scurried about, and then here you are.
Bags.
We've
Candy,
rarely
goodie bags.
scurried, dude. This is just prep brain right now.
Lost it.
I mean, I spend like $300 on fucking just candy alone, let alone chips, and then Rice Krispie treats.
Shirts.
Shirts.
What she said was, we
I
talked
remember
about.
what she said.
Okay.
Bags.
Anyways,
So now Greg wants to get political.
so I won't get too political yet, but
Okay.
I want to talk judging.
Yeah.
Getting away with the promoting a little bit. But
Bring, can I scream into this? Bring it on.
there you go. You brought up as a show promoter hiring your judges and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
picking my panel.
Let's talk about that a little bit. What comes into picking a panel?
So, especially I feel like for me, because
We do see. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
we
bring it
do
on.
see a lot of the same judges at a
That
lot of
has
the
to
same
happen.
shows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there reasoning behind that, or is that handpicked?
So, like, your head judges are going to be your repeats. There's way less of them. There's way
Are
less
the
of them.
requirements to a head judge?
Technically, you're supposed to be a national judge as well in
Okay.
order to be able to head judge at a state level.
Okay.
Depends on the state. There can be a little wiggle room. I've head
And a
judged
national
myself.
Judge is not a pro judge.
Correct.
There's 3 levels to it, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So really, out of respect, it's either Chuck or Stacey Thomasini at this point. I've had judge some shows, and then they get a little stricter with, well, she's not a national judge. Well, fuck. I still had judge shows.
So that people know.
Yeah.
How do you become from a regional level to a national level to a pro level judge?
Sure. So to start with a regional level, you email me. And I'm the NPC Illinois and Wisconsin Judges Coordinator.
Okay.
A lot of people email Michelle, and she'll kind of cipher through them too and answer some questions. But we're going to ask some questions. Every year, another rule comes out who's allowed to judge and who's not allowed to judge. Coaches cannot judge. If you are,
and that's what I was going to get at
Yeah.
as well. Is there's a thing from the past where I've seen coaches judging and people be like, well, that person only placed because that coach. But people don't realize
let me
also though.
explain that shit. Yeah.
People don't realize also, and I understand why from a promoter standpoint, NPC standpoint, just putting the kibosh on it, right? But people also don't understand that every judge up there are not all judging the same categories.
No, we're all judging the same categories.
But don't you have somebody who? No.
We
Okay.
all judge every single body, all of us. So every single athlete gets a score from all 6, 7 of those judges.
Okay.
So I might put you first. Pat's like, fuck no. Number 37 is first. This guy's third. His glutes aren't sharp.
Dick. Right.
It's a
But
preference thing.
For those of you that don't know, the high and low are
We
what?
cancel. Okay, I'll get into judging. Pause.
Yeah.
Picking a panel. Me personally, I'm going to pick judges that sometimes you have to do a little favor.
Okay.
In terms of this guy's been judging for a really long time. This will be his one show of the year he judges. Just because they still want to be in it. They still want to come. Do I love that personally necessarily? No, I don't. I want a judge who's current. They know exactly what's going on. Who won the Olympia? That is our standard now. That is how we are judging. Bikini, wellness, whatever. But to become a judge nowadays, and this is a new rule as of 2 years ago, you cannot be a coach. You cannot be a opposing coach. You cannot be a prep coach. You cannot be a coach, period. So we ask some questions. If you want to become a state level judge, you email me. I'm going to ask you questions. And if I don't want you, my answer is going to be no, thank you. If I think, okay, fine, I'll give you a chance. You have to test judge.
That's right.
3 shows. That's your minimum. And you have to match the head judge's scores with like an 80%. Even that's changed. We've changed the way that we do test judging. You have to match the head judge's scores on the top 5 only 100%. And the last couple of years, a couple of people, or last year since it changed, fail.
No shit.
It used to be you have to match the head judge's scores +1 or -1. So if this is going to get too confusing, you could get a percentage and still
Right.
pass. And now it's a little harder. You have to match the head judge's scores on the top 5 only 100%. Nobody's passed so far. Nobody.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
reminds me, I have to score some sheets. So then, yes.
I don't think that's a bad thing
I
necessarily.
don't either, and it's unbelievable because when the rules changed, when I was scoring, I did it the old way, and I did it the new way. The old way they would have passed. The new way they failed miserably. Mm-hmm. So I brought it to Chuck, and I'm like, "What do you want to do with this?" Because they just changed the rule. Old way they passed, new way they failed.
Yeah.
He's like, "They're out."
Failed.
Out because we just get too much heat for it's the political, you knew somebody, blah blah blah.
And that's why I wanted to get into judging
Out.
because everyone always says political.
Oh my God. So that's where
So I
we can
wanna
touch
answer
on
that for everybody listening.
I'd love to answer it, and I make a point to answer it, not even answer it, but bring it up to my clients, and I get to touch a lot of people's lives, preps, whatever's. So it's important for me to bring it up to them so they understand, because their loser ass coach who got 8th place and thought he should have gotten 1st is tainting them. You know what I'm saying? Don't do shows in Illinois. They're political.
I've heard that.
Go to Wisconsin. Funny thing, when you show up at Wisconsin,
all the
4 of
same
those
judges.
fucking judges are from Illinois. So fuck you and your dumb, stupid politics. But to what Pat said, the highs and the lows. So the way that scores are tallied is purposely designed to eliminate an athlete from being high scored or low scored.
Right.
So if you were my ex-boyfriend and I gave you last place, and you were my current boyfriend and I gave you 1st, So I'm going to be fucking sneaky and give you a last and you a first. Now, when it goes through to tallying everything up, there's 6 judges on that panel, sometimes more. The highest score and the lowest score get eliminated.
Right.
So if I was trying to
Give somebody a little push.
give somebody a little push, or the opposite, it gets thrown out completely, and then they average what's left. Because generally speaking, if we're all judging you, number 37, if we're all good, if we know what we're fucking looking at, we're going to be about the same. We don't have to match the head judge, but generally like a third, a fourth, a third, and maybe a fifth. And then I'm going to look at that score and ask you as a judge, like, fifth? The rest of us gave him third.
Yeah.
And
What
a
did
couple
you see?
fourths.
Yeah.
What did you see? Why'd you put him fourth?
And that's why it also doesn't have to be malicious intent. Your example was
Not
like
at all.
ex-boyfriend, current boyfriend.
Right, I make
But
it
there's
obvious.
always going to be like a judge who like there's 5 guys up in front
I
of them.
just don't like you.
And like I just don't like that physique.
I hate
I
your
just
It's
fucking
subjective.
genetic.
I hate
It's subjective.
It is,
Because
and that's why we can all
That's-
have a slightly different score, but we should all be within a +1 or plus negative.
And that's why those
of the head
highs
judge.
and lows gets dropped because we are
Exactly.
all still human beings.
Right.
And even if there's not one political, not one bias, not
Mm-hmm.
one anything, there's going to be a judge who looks up one day and goes, I don't like that physique.
Yeah. I
And
don't
it
like
has
blondes.
nothing to do, right. Something in the back of their head will say, I don't like that. And
Right.
that's not winning for me. And then
Right.
it's everybody else's job to be like, no, that's actually the best one here. And then it's like,
And they can still disagree. I've looked right
Okay,
at Chuck and been
yeah.
like, are you kidding me? No way. That's my second place. No way.
and you just be like, okay, and that's it.
But I've been doing this long enough where Chuck will at least respect it. And
Yeah.
at least if it's first or second,
Right.
it's not like I'm putting her in 8th place. Then Chuck would look at me
Yes.
and be like, you're fucking out.
Right.
So we have a way of making it
Yeah.
fucking fair, because we have had judges who either messed up, because the way we judge, you have to like put placements, so sometimes you can get a little bit confused, especially when you're a little bit new.
So again, for the people listening, so you're giving placings, you're not just doing points then.
Correct.
Okay.
There are no points. So people ask me all the time, am I going to get points deducted? Impossible. If I'm looking at these 2 athletes, let's say there's 2 people in this
Until you're a
class.
pro, right?
Until you're a pro. No, it's placement. Placement.
That lead to a point system. But
Well,
Yeah.
I'll explain how
Yeah, yeah.
it's a point system. So I'm going to give you first, and I'm going to give you second.
Thanks.
That's it. That's what I write down. Number 37 got first. Number 38 got second.
Yep.
That's how, and now at the end, that's how it's a point system. Cancel the high, cancel the low, add up the other numbers, total points. Lowest total points wins.
Yeah.
So that's why it looks like points.
Right.
You're
It's-
not getting
it's just-
points for
it's
your
just-
delts and then for your tan
No.
and then for your posing.
It's
You're
just your
placed.
placement. Yeah.
You're just simply placed first through 16th. And everyone else is 16.
It's very simple when you think about it.
It is so simple and it is so easy to not allow people to be dishonest, whether for good or bad. Well, their opinion, good or bad. I mean, I've been a scorer before and we had a guy that averaged first and second, and that particular judge put him 8th. That's a fucking discrepancy. If he had put him 4th, I wouldn't have said anything. Even though it's still a little bit like, come on, this guy, most people are giving him first place and you give him 4th.
Right.
I picked up his sheet in the middle of judging and walked right up to him and said, did you mean to do that? Did you just fuck this up or did you mean to do that? Because you can go ahead and change it right now. And now he's scrambling. Because if you have to change one score, you got to change all the fucking scores.
Yep.
Now he's scrambling. Those people don't judge anymore. If you either make a mistake, and that's happened, but then you can see the consistency of it. So every single one of their sheets that gets passed down is like fucked up. They mess it up. And it's easy to mess it up.
Yeah.
Or if you're seeing random little kind of red flags, they're out. It's hard to get judges now with the new way that we bring on judges. It's even harder to get new judges. And we do like to kind of, hey, like Greg's the new judge. Let's give him his one show in the winter. And then, well, fuck, we got another new judge. And then we got an old judge. They got to come in too. Well, fuck, we got to give this person a chance.
Right.
So it's kind of like, you know, we pick our panels, but I always shoot it through Chuck. Like, what do you think? This is what my panel's going to be. And he'll say, what about this person? I'll be like, well, or and we kind of bounce ideas back and forth off each other. But I pick a panel that I know is fresh eyes,
And stays current with the sport. Like
Stays current. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing. I want them to be current. And if that old timer doesn't like it, be current. Be current.
Do your homework.
Pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how judging
It's not a big
not
ask.
political. I just hate people.
No, it's not a big ask. That's
It's
just
not.
That's like, hey,
This is your sport. I know
Right.
you maybe do it twice a year, but pay attention.
right. And listen, it's not whatever year you started judging anymore.
It's
is
not. It
now
changes.
This year.
It's what's now.
Sports
It
evolve.
is.
They just do.
Speaking of
They're
evolving,
doing weight limits for IFBB Pro
Yes.
men's physique.
Yeah.
which I think is great though.
Smart. Genius.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you think that'll carry down to the NPC level?
I think so.
I think it should.
It'll take time.
I'd be shocked if it didn't.
I think it should. I think it'll take time. I think a year or two of seeing how it works at the pro level. But I think that it'd be very smart because
I think
some of
it's
these guys,
necessary.
I mean,
Too big.
Listen, so, and again, I'm not a judge, right? Physique should be very different than bodybuilding. Classic should also be different, right? Some of these physique guys now are bigger than the classic guys and bigger than some of the bodybuilding guys.
With shorts on.
That's it. You know,
well, some of them are doing both.
Yeah.
when physique first came out, I remember the big dudes weren't awarded.
Right. They looked like a bodybuilder.
They looked like a bodybuilder.
Out.
They were not awarded.
Yeah.
You know, and then over time, I get it though. Somebody wants to be Pat, right? Year after year after year, he's competed as a physique guy. Year after year, he's gotten bigger. Obviously, you're a bodybuilder. You want to progress.
Right.
I
Bigger,
understand
leaner,
that.
whatever.
But you still have to fit a certain criteria, right? And some people have the room to grow to fit that criteria. But eventually, you need to evolve. You either go to a new class or you need to be able to maintain that size and just bring better conditioning or whatever
Right.
you need to do, right? So I saw that it was a very, very big transition when physique first got introduced on how people judged at not just the regional level, but the national level
We were
and the pro
lost.
level, right?
Yeah.
So now with everything being brought in, now you have classic, right? Now you have wellness. Like, how do you feel all of that has changed things? Because I still feel that nothing against judging or promoting, but I still feel that sometimes there's just like a big misconception about what should be awarded and what shouldn't be awarded.
That's where it's hard. I mean, I feel like we have a pretty good handle on like men's physique.
But it's been around for a while now.
It's been around for a while, maybe 8 years. I feel
I
like
would say
something like that.
Yeah, just under 10 probably.
Something like
yeah.
that. And I know what I'm looking for. I know what I want because I'm current. I pay attention. Just a little splash. Like wellness is new. Again, I'm current. I'm paying attention. I don't think it's changed the sport in a bad way. I think it's given more athletes an opportunity to work towards their genetic strengths. You know,
And their own personal goals.
Correct. I don't necessarily want a figure body. I want to look like a wellness girl or a bikini girl. Cool. You've got places where you can show it off.
Before we move in deeper on the judging, can you just explain what you look for in wellness, please? Please.
And
because
We're going to share the same feelings.
I don't think people understand what wellness should look like.
Kate has made some great posts about this recently, actually.
I know she has, and that's why I got excited to ask her, because for those who have not seen it, all right, please explain to the people what wellness is.
Wellness does not mean because you have big, fat legs and wide hips. That is not fucking wellness. That means you're a bikini athlete whose coach isn't good enough to get your legs down enough for bikini. You do not show up on a bodybuilding stage with visible fucking fat.
Nope.
Period. It is in almost all of the criteria.
Don't care what class
No
you're in.
visible, any class, no visible fat. All these wellness gals, and I totally get if they're like, hey, I want to do wellness. That is the look that I want. Rock on, girl. Bring it on. But this is still bodybuilding. You need to be conditioned. And if that means that you don't have the wellness structure yet and you
grow
still
into
want to
it.
do wellness, bring it on, girl. But be realistic with the outcome.
Yes. Just like someone who's a 135-pound bodybuilder,
Right.
but he wants to be a pro bodybuilder.
Then bring it on. Let's
then
do
don't
it.
do physique, right?
Don't do it. Do bodybuilding.
Do bodybuilding.
But understand if you don't win, the reasons why.
Yes, and year by year progress and get better
Yeah.
and keep leveling up to the competition.
Right.
And progress from there.
Right.
you know?
Right.
But I see all these, you know, girls going on stage right now wanting to do wellness, and
they're literally not even muscular enough for
9
bikini.
out of 10 just look like they don't work out.
They don't. Literally not enough
legs.
muscle for bikini.
Yes.
And bikini is the least muscular
amount of muscle.
of the divisions.
Correct.
And again, I get it if it was your choice to be like, I'm doing it anyways. Rock on, girl. I'm going to teach you posing. Be realistic with the outcome.
Right.
What is wellness? It is a disproportionately proportioned physique. Your lower body has to be unbelievably dominant in comparison to your upper body in terms of your silhouette and amount of muscle. I would say it's kind of like bikini on the upper half, still muscle, still visible, you know, athleticism, nice round shoulders, small waist, and your legs are like a fucking female physique competitor.
Yeah.
And it is as conditioned. I have so many girls who tell me that their coaches told me that they should do wellness, and I'm like, how many weeks are you? Oh, 2? Not even close. You're not even close to being able to do
You
bikini.
shouldn't do any.
You shouldn't do anything. You shouldn't do anything at all.
Like, hey, no. Because you have like child.
De Niro
birthing
likes you
days.
now.
Like,
No, yeah, now he does.
No, he does.
Literally, like
but you know, like that's what that's.
all of them.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you have childbirthing hips. You should do wellness. Like, no.
Great. And could
no.
you, with 4 years in an off season, with a perfect coach, perfect training, perfect nutrition?
Absolutely.
Fine.
You could, but
Good.
that's not the reason to do it.
And I'd shame on these coaches for putting these gals up on stage like, oh, your wellness, and they don't even have enough muscle for bikini.
Just tell him to get out of here, dude.
Hey, go lay down.
He wants to come in.
He'll knock everything down.
Will he really?
Oh, yeah.
Is that
Go lay
retarded?
down. Go.
I love how Pat's the one who's like, you're not my dog, but go lay down.
He's closer.
He told me to hit him, and I said,
I meant like, get him out of here,
Look at
dude.
his flappy
I know
ear.
what you meant.
I got my pistol. I'm just kidding.
Listen, Kate, he's not a deer, all right?
He's shaking because of the storm. That's why.
He's afraid, yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one who doesn't like noise.
Dad.
He's gonna knock.
If everybody wants to know, we're talking about the dog.
If Diesel's not over there, who he's the stupid one, let him in. He'll come lay right by
But
me.
he's still gonna. All right.
Pat, move your bag.
Just pull it.
Move your blockade.
Just yeah.
Come on, bud.
Come here. All right, so moving away from
Wellness. Be
which-
fucking lean with a lot of muscle. Thank you.
Yes.
Goodbye. Lean. If I don't see separation in your glute ham tie-in and some separation in your quads, you are not lean enough.
You don't belong on stage.
And if
Or,
you're
like
skinny,
you said,
then you just don't have enough muscle.
or like you said, if that's the class you want to be in, you want to compete,
Then
you
rock
wanna
on, but
rock on,
understand when you
but
get
be
last.
realistic.
And here's the hard part, because it's new and you're seeing such a variation of gals. You're seeing just straight up bikini girls, or you're seeing
But
thicker
I think that's
girls.
the problem, though.
That's the problem.
Is they're not just watching the pro level. They're
watching a
the
regional level.
And they're like, oh, I look like that. I can get on stage.
Right. When we're just trying to pick the best of the worst. And that sounds terrible, but we're trying to
But
pick the
that's
best
what
out of
it is right now.
Yeah, nobody fits that criteria yet. It's going to be several
I
years.
think I've seen one or two
Pretty good girls.
at
Me
a
too.
regional level
Yeah.
who actually look like they're a wellness girl.
Me too.
You
Or
know,
the-
otherwise, just like people who are not in shape yet.
It's just like,
Right.
oh, Becky with the big butt won this show.
Right,
Not
right.
because there was good competitors, but just because
Right.
she happened to be the best there that
Right.
day. Like you said, best of the worst. She happened to be the best that day, so she won.
Yeah.
And that breeds more of, well, I
can
look,
do it.
I do look like that because I
Right.
don't diet and I don't have muscle. So
Right.
I should do it then too. And it's like, no.
Right. I've had very few in my opinion, true wellness competitors, all of whom still need to grow.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll get their pro card, but they'll get eaten alive on the pro level. Eaten alive, demolished, destroyed. But on the state level, they can do very well. And even one of them still needed to be leaner and have more muscle. The other one just needed to be leaner. The other one just needed to be a little bit tighter and a little bit bigger. I mean, you're talking state level, the three of them will kill it.
And also
I'm talking
like-
about three good ones. I've had a lot that are just not there yet. I think they can get there, but you need more time.
You still said proportionately disproportionate.
Correct.
So just because she said disproportion, you still have to remember she said proportion.
Right.
So it's not like, yes, it's just about having these big legs. Does that
Big
play
fat
a
legs.
role? Right, especially when they're fat. Does having big muscular legs play a huge role? Yes, absolutely. But so does having muscle up top that disproportionately matches those legs.
Correct.
If you don't have a ripped six pack to match a quad that has perfect separation down the front of
Yeah.
it, then you don't fit that mold.
Right.
If you don't have a back that is lean and detailed that matches a glute ham tie-in that looks sick from the back, then you don't fit that mold.
You don't.
And that's okay.
It's okay. You can get there.
Yes.
With a good coach.
Why do you feel they brought wellness on? Do you think it's a good thing, or do you wish that they stuck to what they had?
I love it. I mean, it had been around in Europe and South America for a minute, and I truly think these American gals and the Kardashians and their big hips and their big butts, and I want to look like that, all of a sudden curvy and thick with a bunch of C's is in. And so girls wanted to shape their physique to look like that. Bring it on. Like I said, it's been in South America and Europe. South America, they're definitely more genetically like kind of geared that way.
Yeah, bottom heavy.
Yeah.
But that's what even men's physique started in. It wasn't men's.
Men's physique was supposed to look
trunk.
like a fit guy at a beach.
Yeah,
That's
it was
what I was
about beach
told.
body.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
I don't remember what the category was, but like maybe it was WBFF.
Yeah.
They had it first where it wasn't like a.
I didn't
They
know
were
that.
they were more in like trunks.
Like a Euro trunk?
Yeah.
Yes, it was like a Euro trunk. So
Yeah.
it all stemmed from somewhere, and obviously it grew popularity. So the NPC, IFBB was like, okay,
Let's do
there's a want for
Another
this.
class, we can
Let's-
bring
now
more
it's
revenue, we
wildly
can bring
popular.
more people into this because it's more realistic for
Yes.
them.
Totally.
There's nothing wrong with that. Just like there's
Nothing.
nothing wrong.
I don't
with
think there's
wellness.
anything wrong with it. I think there's
No,
just
not at all.
something wrong with
We're in a growing
people
pain stage.
not being realistic with what the criteria actually is.
And part of that, I blame the coach. Because
For
as
sure.
a coach, you should be like,
This is what you look like. I have people all the time that ask me, hey,
All the
where
time.
do you think I should compete? And I'm like, okay, well, here's my honest
and
opinion.
I give them the flip side. Where do I think and where do you
That's
want to
what I
be?
do.
Right.
I say, here's my honest opinion, but where do you see yourself? Long term, what do you want to look like?
Yes, same with
And
me.
If
Thank
you want to look like a heavyweight bodybuilder,
Let's do
guess
it.
what? You're not ready for that. Why would you compete right now and do physique or,
and-
do a, lightweight bodybuilding when your end goal is to be
A heavyweight,
225 pounds on stage?
Let's
Let's just
either
keep
wait or
growing.
expect to get last.
Exactly.
Let's not.
And I'm
forget,
fine
too,
with that.
That you also sometimes when people come and blatantly ask those questions and they're not in stage shape or they haven't done a show before,
They haven't even sat
we
in a
don't-
show audience.
We don't know what's under there for you.
That's the thing. I
We
tell
really
them that
might-
all the
and
time.
that's-
Unless
and
they're
that's-
already in great shape.
No, but what I'm
Right.
saying
Most
is
of them-
but
Most of them are, yes.
Somebody who's in great shape probably knows what category they should. Not, I don't want to say all of them.
Yeah,
but they
because if
might
you're in
have a
great
better
shape, you're a
idea.
little more specific in the
Yes.
gym with your food.
Yes,
like
you're more on point with certain
In most
things.
cases.
But-
I have a rare scenario right now
Sure.
who came up to me and he was kid shredded. And he just emailed me. He was like, hey, I want to compete.
Don't know where I fit.
What should I do?
Yeah.
And he's not a big guy. I said, physique.
Yeah.
And he goes, really? You don't think classic? I go, no, dude. I go, because at your height, there's going to be guys 20 pounds heavier than you.
Yeah, your
I
legs aren't big enough,
But
probably."
you are in amazing shape. He's a trainer. He's not into bodybuilding, right? But it's kind of like a bucket list thing. He wants to do it to market himself. I said, dude, you would be a great physique competitor.
Yeah.
And he's like, really? Like, I really like classic. I'm like, if you want to do classic, sure.
No,
I'm
wait.
like, take a little bit of time, grow.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm just doing it for marketing. I don't want to be a pro or anything. I'm like, then physique it is.
Then
It's-
shut your
Shut your mouth.
and do men's physique.
This is what we're going to do.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
All right. So with that being said, okay, we'll go off the actual criteria and stuff like that. Judging goes.
Mm-hmm.
So we went over everybody is basically scoring everybody, right? We
Yep.
know that much,
Yep.
right?
Everyone is scoring every athlete.
As far as how do you become a judge?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that a lot of people, and I know answers because we've talked about this before, but for the people listening, a lot of people think that judging again is political and only certain people can be judges and they have to be well known and whatever.
Yeah.
How do you become a judge?
You email me, and like I said, I ask you
Okay,
questions.
You said that right.
And you come
We
and
do the test judging, right? But
And then-
still, if you go in and you pass a test,
Yeah.
right?
If you pass,
Does that mean you're a judge, or is it somebody who you still want to see has been in the industry? Have they?
no, not necessarily.
Okay.
Any Joe Schmo can be like, I want to judge. Cool. Maybe you're some outsider who follows it and they're not in the limelight or
Never
not
competed.
never competed, but you follow the sport, you're passionate about the sport, you work out yourself, you're in shape, etc. Cool. I'm going to ask you those certain questions, get a feel for what your reasoning is for wanting to do this. Is it for clout? You're not making a lot of money, so it's not for fucking money. I'll make more.
Is it Napoleonism?
Yeah.
Are you doing it because you just have a complex where you need to be in charge of other people?
A lot of people
and
do it for like, oh, I'm a judge.
the wrong reasons, right?
Well, okay.
We all know that guy that refs Pee Wee hockey, but because he likes being in charge,
Bossing around kids. Well,
Absolutely.
as a judge, you don't really get to boss around kids, but people think you're cool.
You're in charge of something.
The judge, and I love when people try and ass kiss. It's so obvious. Like none of y'all, it ain't working. I can tell. So then you get the opportunity, and I let the other judges know, and we have a new judge, and I talked to Chuck, and here comes the other one, and we got a new person. So who's going to take them?
Yeah.
And then we are going to look at their scores very heavily. And if they just simply don't do that well, or they show up a fucking minute late, or they don't conduct themselves in a certain way, they'll never judge again. You're out. If you don't show up on time, you will never judge again.
Wow, it's so weird.
No
how
patience.
This sounds like everything else. If
Yeah.
you put in the
Amazing.
grunt, if you put in the grunt work and you show that you're passionate about it and you work hard, you can be that thing.
Amazing.
And if you screw up and you don't do a good job, you will not be asked to do
I
it.
mean,
that
for
something
fuck's
you
sake.
see? Go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah, it is. I mean, if you're sitting there and you're your brand new judge, I'm going to put you next to somebody who has experience. Ask questions. Ask questions. But if you're sitting on the end thinking you're going to reach over and talk to or like lean over, because you're on the end of the fucking table, and tell Chuck or tell Stacy or myself or whatever when to move somebody or what to do, shut your fucking mouth and ask questions and learn, because you don't know a goddamn thing. You don't know a fucking thing.
Now, when you guys see that, though, is that typically when you just kind of don't ask somebody
You're
to come
out.
back?
You're not coming back.
Yeah.
And if you conduct yourself in a certain way, like we now, unfortunately, we have to be kind of strict about social media. Don't post yourself judging. Don't post yourself in your judge's shirt with your clients. If you happen to have made it past that rule, anybody who was grandfathered in, they're grandfathered in. But
So if you're grandfathered in as somebody who has coached people, you can still obviously judge, even if you're actively still a judge.
correct.
Okay.
Correct. But we have to be extra careful. Maybe they don't judge as much. And we have to send out direct text messages or phone calls and like, listen, this is just so that you don't hurt yourself or us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't be posting any pictures with your judging shirt on with maybe your client who got third
yeah.
place, whatever.
Yeah.
It's really annoying because, and my clients will ask me all the time, like, oh, are you judging my show? And I'll say, you'll see me there. I don't tell a single person if I'm actually physically judging their show, because if they're posting,
Yeah.
Kate's judging my show and they win fair and square, somebody else is going to turn around and say it's because they knew Kate. Well, it's not. I'm not going to let anybody know. Nobody knows I was judging.
Yeah, right.
What was I going to say?
It's just
I
not-
just
it's
don't.
not the look
I don't
they
want
want.
them to deal with it, and I don't want to have to deal with
Right.
it. It's like I don't know. People are
It's
just
better kept separate.
It really is, and it's always the people that complain are always the people that got like 8th, 9th, 10th.
Yeah.
But I mean, second place will email me and ask me how come she got first and I didn't, and I always just say I don't respond like that. Feedback is for you
Right.
personally.
Feedback is not for how do I.
It's
beat
not the
that
why.
person- How do I
Correct.
beat that person? who
It's
beat
how do
me.
you improve.
It's how do I get better in my physique.
And that's what I tell them all.
Yeah.
What are your strengths and weaknesses personally? It doesn't matter who else was there. It doesn't matter if you got last or second.
And guys, if you're thinking more than any of this, you're overthinking what it is as a whole.
For sure.
They all overthink.
Anything if you're overthinking anything that Kate has said about promoting or judging, or you're already overthinking. It is not that
Pat,
complicated.
The only people
you're an
that
overthinker.
But it's not that complicated.
It's really not, though.
It's not.
the only people that I ever hear complaining about, oh, it's politics, oh, the judging, oh, this, oh, that,
Scorned.
are the people who did not do as well as they wanted to.
Because you did not have the conditioning, the muscle, the posing,
Something.
the work ethic.
Yeah.
You didn't
An
have
honest
something.
coach, whatever it may be.
The coaches.
Yeah.
You posed bad. You did some.
We had a poor guy. He would have gotten first place. I think it was Illinois State. And he couldn't open up his lats.
You
and
had
we moved him
an
out.
amazing guy at your show who looked great.
Was it?
We're not going to talk about him.
I don't want to say names
We're
right
not
now,
gonna
but I'll
name-
tell you
That's
later. We talked backstage with him.
We all did.
Yes.
We all told
He
him
looked
Yes.
amazing, but he
Yes.
could not pose.
Couldn't pose.
for the life of me.
Could not pose.
The braids.
Yep. Hit me up afterwards.
Way to go.
Hey, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I need a coach, blah, blah,
No
blah. Because
clue.
we all talked about him.
We did.
Yeah.
And still nothing. You know, like but I think it's a lot of people, one, don't want to ask for the help, right?
Or they think
a lot-
YouTube is going to do it.
Yes.
Everybody's
you know,
broke.
But guess what? Granted, I cannot pose for bikini. I cannot pose for physique. Like, I don't even try to, right? So what do? I send my clients to you.
Yeah.
And a lot of my clients, even bodybuilding clients, I say, hey, go to Kate,
Just
go
a
to
little
Kate.
checkup.
And
We
a lot
make
of them,
the tiniest tweaks.
a lot of them still are like, hey, like, doesn't really fit in budget. And I'm like, hey, listen, like, I could help you, but you want someone else to go and give you another opinion, you know? And not everybody can afford it. And I understand that, right?
I
But
get it,
if you're somebody
but-
who is serious about this sport, go and at least work with a posing coach 1 or 2 times.
I know.
You find money for the food. You find money for the
For the
tan,
drugs.
the drugs specifically, right?
You're already going to spend whatever. Say at the low
But
end.
that's the thing. This
that's
is an
the best part.
expensive
You could
hobby.
look amazing.
Yeah. If
But
you
if you
can't
can-
afford the sport, I'm
Right.
sorry.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. If you have to skimp on one thing,
Right.
it's going to affect your bottom line. And your
Yeah.
bottom line is your trophy at the end of the
100%.
day.
100%.
Like, I'm sorry, but if you can't afford it, don't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
You're gonna spend
outta here.
$1,000.
$1,000
Spend the
on the
1,200.
weekend.
Spend the 1,200.
Right.
Just it's not. We're not saying you have to be a baller to do this.
Well,
But
stop
it's-
buying those new
it's an-
fucking Nike
but-
workout outfits.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's an expensive
I know,
sport. So
I
just
know.
if you're gonna do it, stop talking about the expense of it and just do it.
Do it.
That's just the reality.
That's the best part though, is I have people all the time like, hey, like, you know, I don't know, things are really tight, like blah, 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 blah. Like, you know, I don't know if I could do this show because I'm not gonna be able to pay for tan now. And,
and all
Then
we're
don't
looking,
do
and
it.
all we're looking at is their
yo,
car they
but
drive.
you're
the shoes they're
in
wearing,
brand new dark sport or this or that or
With a
you know,
chain.
chains and brand new Jordans or whatever, but you can't afford your fucking tan or your registration.
Right, it's
What,
all
you just
about the
prep for
look.
fucking 20 weeks?
Oh,
They don't care.
I did the hotel. I can't afford the hotel.
Okay,
you
well
picked
then
the
you're
show-
sleeping in your motherfucking car.
Well, and you picked a show outside of the state. So what did you think?
Because Illinois is political, Pat. Didn't you fucking know? That's fucking why.
And to beat politics, you gotta have money. So
Oh my
So
God.
pay the hotel fee and just do it and shut up then. It's
true.
You moron.
I almost said something awfully
Yeah,
inappropriate, but I stopped
okay.
myself. It was terrible. Partially
You
true.
can tell us later.
Yeah, tell us off the air.
I will.
We gotta start taking notes of all these off-air conversations we need to have.
We're at 2 hours.
Holy
Is there
fuck.
anything else you wanted to cover before?
There's
we
a
go?
lot
A
of
thousand things.
Yeah.
How wellness butts are fat.
Yeah.
On a state level.
For
Sorry.
today, is there
everybody.
anything urgent?
Based on the conversation we had today, we talked pretty much promoting and we talked judging. I'm sure we're definitely going to have you back on because
love
there's still
it.
so much more
Have me
that
like a
we need to
once a
talk about.
monther.
Yeah,
we
we'll
should
just do
it.
that.
Let's just plan for that.
I love
okay.
it. All right.
We'll talk off air about that as well. But do you have anything else that goes into judging or competing?
No.
That you want to ask or
I think we
promoting?
covered it.
And if anybody listening has other questions about judging
don't be
or
afraid
Yeah.
to-
How do they
Fucking-
contact you?
you can DM me and I will send you to my email because I hate chasing around like this DM, that DM.
Right.
Yeah, email me
Perfect.
or DM me.
Sorry,
the
DM
Catester
DM
0123.
the Catester, and she will give you her email if it's worth the
And then we can
Yeah.
conversate. And I have a lot of just conversations with people about judging, stage, things like that. I'm here to answer your questions for free, and I'd rather people ask questions than walk in because their coach told them it was political.
Yep.
With that being said,
Yes.
I'll bring up one more question then, okay? Coaches,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Coaches.
Coaches,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I brought it up. You did that earlier. We obviously know there's just a ongoing just blow up of new coaches everywhere.
Of course.
Okay? How do you feel that has affected the industry? Because obviously you guys are getting more competitors probably because of it.
Totally.
Right?
So it's good in
But
that
I feel
respect.
like as a business, it's good. But I feel like the quality of competitors now are not as good. There's obviously great competitors
yeah.
still, but I feel like there's more competitors now, but there's less quality than there was just 5 years ago or 10 years ago, So how do you feel that has kind of changed things for you guys?
And I don't even know if I mean, like, time out. You look at junior nationals this year, it was the lowest numbers they've ever had.
Yeah.
And when I competed at junior nationals and almost got my pro card by one single point, there was, I think, 47 girls in a class or something like that.
Wow.
And now for figure, there's in the teens, maybe 20.
I don't even think there was teens this year.
I don't think so.
Not
It was low.
each
It was low.
high class, yeah.
I don't think it's a coaches necessarily, but I think it's just the times, social media,
just
instant
making
gratification. I mean, the more coaches, even if it's kind of a beginner coach who maybe doesn't have a whole lot of knowledge, but they love the sport, they support their athletes, and they're doing what they know is best. I mean, that's great. It'll get a first time athlete through their very first show and kind of a gateway, and then
And I agree with that because I think that everybody, just like a competitor, right?
Right.
Every coach starts somewhere.
They
right?
start somewhere.
You have to start small. You have to start.
Right.
Hey, like
and some coaches lead to big things. Same
when
with
I first
my
started
coach.
coaching, I coached my first 3 or 4 clients for free.
Same
hey,
with
listen,
my coach.
like I'm learning with you, you're learning with me.
So it's free.
We're going to do it together. We're going to learn, and I'm not going to charge you. And I'm going to use you, and it's going to market me, and hopefully we learn and we do well and we build and whatever,
Right.
And those same clients, I still don't charge.
I love that.
That's exactly where we're at,
Love that.
But we've built something together now, and I owe a lot of what I've built on
From them.
Yeah. So I don't discredit anybody that's a new coach that's not learning, right?
Me neither, because they're gonna learn.
They're gonna learn,
Right.
but it's the coaches that have been around for a long time,
or the coaches who don't want to learn.
or I was gonna say the new people who they compete one time, or maybe they never even competed, right?
No.
And they just want to coach because they see the opportunity for it, and they're a good salesman, and they're just feeding bullshit, and they're copy pasting to every single person.
Yeah.
But the people with genetics will still progress, and those, I feel like they're making a very bad name for things.
Yes.
And I feel like that's changing a lot of it too.
It's changing a lot of it, I think, only for the individual athlete.
Yes.
It's not changing it in our sport, because those athletes are still getting on stage,
Right.
but then you've got that one particular athlete who will never do it again.
Right.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. It's putting a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth, and they're thinking poorly about what this actually is.
Right. Exactly.
And it's because of social media that has, I feel like it's built that, if your coach doesn't look the part, if your coach doesn't talk the talk, walk the walk, why are you listening to them in the first place?
I'm not sure. If they don't look the part.
Well, you're right. It doesn't make sense to us.
Come on.
But it's when those coaches get trophies. But to us, even if it's not a trophy for a body that it should have a trophy, it grows from that. It stems from that. Like people not looking at, oh, he helped this person do this. They're looking at, oh, they have a trophy. I want a trophy.
Right.
And that's where
Instant gratification.
Yes.
I want a trophy. Even though my ass jiggles like a waterbed, I want a trophy.
A lot of people listening probably don't even know what a waterbed is.
Right, because they're all too young. They're all of them.
Whether the physique looks good or the physique looks bad, unfortunately, instead of hearing feedback that this coach taught me X, Y, and Z, I learned from him, he gave me all of these things. Instead, it was, oh, he got a trophy for this person. I want a trophy, so I'm going to that person.
And a lot of those same coaches poach people with unbelievable genetics.
Yeah.
And I can get you your pro card, and people jump ship because
They jump
instant
ship just 'cause
gratification.
Greg just touched on taking on a handful of clients to help learn together.
That's how my coach started.
He doesn't do that now by going to shows and seeing the ones with good potential and says, I'm
Here's my
coaching
business
you
card.
for free so that you bring me 10 others
I don't reach
that
out
don't.
to anybody.
But that's the difference, is the coaches that do that will charge 100 of their clients that will never win a trophy.
Right.
But don't charge the one who gets the trophy in order to build their business.
100%.
I have clients who do well and have a ton of potential, and they get people who reach out to them all the time. And they'll send it to me, and I'm like, all right,
I'd love to
hey,
coach you.
do what you want. And like, I know they're sending it to me because they don't want to change, but like, hey, can you believe this guy said this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey man, listen, like options there. Like if you want to go, like that's fine. But
take 'em
hey,
up
we've
on
worked
it.
together for 5 years.
Let me guess, that same person.
We worked together for 5 years. I know your
If the
body
wheel ain't broke,
probably
why are you
just as
trying to
well
fix
as
it?
you know your body at this point. You can go to fucking Chris Aceto tomorrow, and it's still going to take him time to see what your body reacts to.
Right.
So go ahead.
Right.
The people who are going to see the most progress are the people who are going to see the most progress are the people who have a
Consistency.
trustworthy coach. And are consistent with their coach.
It's true.
And they take the time to learn together.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a good coach.
This
That's
is
like
not
a
this is not
catch-22 right
rocket
there.
science,
If
right?
it's a good coach.
It's science and math for sure.
Yeah.
But it's not rocket science,
No.
right? It's patience. It's learning together and
Patience.
growing together,
Yeah.
but being patient with it.
Patient.
If you have a coach who understands nutrition to even a decent extent,
Sure.
understands training
Mesomorph,
to a decent extent.
ectomorph,
Yes.
endomorph.
And if you're an enhanced competitor, understands drugs
Yeah.
and blood work, you know, like, guess
Yeah.
what? They're going to be able to get you
That's a
in
whole
shape,
nother rant.
just like the next coach and
Right.
the other coach. But what you're going to do together over time and seeing how, because guess what, how you may respond to something is going to be completely different than how he responds, whether it's
Right.
training, cardio, food, drugs, whatever
Diuretic.
it is. Yes.
Right.
So
A good coach.
the
is
people who
more
are like,
than-
oh, well, this coach just got that person a pro card, and this coach just got that person in this. And, okay.
Maybe that
well,
coach has been with that athlete for 5 fucking years. And they got a
Bingo.
bunch of 4th and 5th and last
bingo.
places.
The biggest point is a good coach is bigger than the day of the show.
Yes.
It doesn't stop
I like
right
that.
there.
It's true,
A
though.
good
Be your next
a-
shirt.
It should be. A good coach is your coach for a period, for as long
Yeah.
as you need them to be your good coach for. It is
Mm-hmm.
not just for show day. It is not for the prep. It is not for the reverse. It is not for. It is your good coach is there for more than it.
Yes,
that day
if
that-
you're
Yeah.
if you have a good coach and you're a great competitor, and a great competitor to me is someone who is also in tune with their own body, right?
And somebody who will do whatever
They're
it takes.
trustworthy,
Yeah.
and they're going to listen, and they're just going to go, but they know how to communicate back to you what they're feeling, what
Yeah,
they're
good.
seeing, et cetera,
Right.
et cetera,
Super
right?
tired today, whatever.
Yeah, that is a great competitor.
Yeah.
That is a great coach, right? But a great coach is someone who can help them on more than just that physical standpoint,
Yeah.
right? But help them on the mental standpoint and know what each client needs and how to cater to each client,
Yeah.
you know? And that's where it's different. So people can jump to whatever coach they want, but just because they did well for one person does not mean that they're going to be the fit for you.
Right.
And that's what I see is they see that these certain coaches are super good with social media, or they target a certain person and they just train them for a cheaper price just because they know that person's going to market well for them. And now they have tons and tons of people reaching out for them, but they're not going to be able to put the same energy into you because now they have a roster of just way too many people to keep up with. But B, they know you don't have the potential, so they're not putting that energy into you anyways.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that's our industry.
Coaches.
Coaches.
It's our industry.
Good.
And something coaches we cannot control. Again, they are running a business inside our fucking
we can
business.
spread awareness, but that's all we
Spread
can do.
awareness.
And
I
so-
encourage people to email. Here's a list, a couple coaches I think that would fit with your kind of personality and what
Sure.
you're looking for and your budget.
Yeah.
I want you to email every single one of them, ask them questions. Who do you vibe with?
Yeah. If your first question is, hey, how much do you charge for coaching?
I'm done.
Nope.
I'm
Don't
out.
want you.
I am out. Go find somebody
Now
else.
you're just price shopping.
And good things aren't free and free things aren't good.
Amen.
We've said
Right.
that 100 times
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Now, as
And
a judge,
I'm not
though,
even that expensive. Go ahead.
as a judge, though, or promoter, whatever,
All the things.
do you guys typically know? And again, I think I know the answer to this, but again, asking for the people, right? Do you guys, based on what you guys hear, what you see, when you guys see people on stage, do you kind of know, hey, who that person's working with or who that person's not working with?
No.
And I asked that.
Drink my water in the wrong tube.
You're good.
No, we have
Drink
no
some
idea.
water. But and I ask that because you have people all the time.
Everybody thinks
well,
that.
they know that person worked with so and so, and that's why they got first place.
Everybody on that panel knows that I'm your fucking coach. If you leave me, it's going to make me look bad. Shut the fuck up. I'm judging a show with 200 athletes with crossovers. I personally, because I work with a lot of athletes, might know 5. The rest of them, if I'm paying attention to social media, which I'm not because I don't give a fuck. I don't know who your fucking coach is.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Right.
Don't care.
If you have fucking the pro producer as your coach and you're coaching your fucking self and you look better, you are winning. I don't care that your coach is the pro producer. Is Damien? He's awesome. I don't care.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
You coach yourself. You look better. Guess what?
Amen.
We are judging those bodies
Based on what they look like that day.
That day. I might personally know you. Maybe you're a client of mine. Maybe I knew you looked better 2 weeks ago. I'm like,
Yep.
God damn it. They look like shit today.
That's happened
All
with
of it
us.
matters.
It happens all the
You
time.
told me, one of my clients, she did bikini. This is probably 4 years ago. And you did her posing and everything. And you're like, wow, like her glutes looked a lot softer today than they did last
Yeah,
week.
she
you
fell
know?
short.
And
better figure that
she
out.
placed fourth.
Yeah.
And in that class, I think she could have, if she came in her best like she was a week or two prior, she could have been second or first.
Yeah.
You know? But she
That
was
happens.
honest with me. And guess what? Kate was her posing coach. I've known Kate for a long time. I was her coach. And guess what?
You asked me. I'll tell
She
you.
took fourth out of 5 competitors.
Second
There
to
was no
last.
politics there.
There was none. I'm your coach.
That's it.
I'm truly almost harder on my own clients because I gave you every goddamn secret.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Every
stood
tool for success.
every tool. I gave you a winning lottery ticket and you didn't play it. I'm going to tell you what the coaches think and say, our opinions, what we're doing, what we're seeing. You know, outside of me just being a really good posing coach, I'm also a judge, so I can give you some insight. And if you fuck up, I'm going to judge you harshly,
100%.
pretty harshly.
It's the reality of it.
But it should be like that though.
Well,
you
it
know?
should be.
But
I'm not
the
giving
problem with
anybody
the world
credit.
today is everyone gets credit for doing a half-ass fucking effort.
Correct.
You know?
Not
There's no
not in my
awards
world.
for fucking
here.
falling short. Like
Those 6th
either
place
you give
trophy.
it your all
Yep.
or you don't. And that's it.
Not here.
And
sometimes-
bodybuilding.
Sometimes your all isn't enough, but at least you can walk away from it knowing that you gave it your all. And next time
That's
you
Hold your
get
head
better.
high,
Right.
that You did everything you could.
And that's really what, and it sounds really cliche, but that's what you have to rely on is did I,
Yeah.
dot my I's and cross my T's and I can stand up here with absolute pride. There's nothing I would have changed about my prep. If I didn't win, so be
It's
it.
on me. Yep.
That's it.
Then I need to be better and how can I do that? And let's move forward. And it stings at first, of course. But people just think they're going to win one chunk.
It always does
get a
because
road card.
everybody wants to get first, right? Like no one
course they do.
joins any sport, any event of a competition of any sort, and says, "Hey, like I don't want to win
Right.
this," you know. But
Are you
you have
realistically
to walk
gonna?
away. You have to walk away learning from it and knowing to do better and understanding why you didn't do well and being
Right.
accepting of it. If you're not
Right.
accepting of it, you're not going to improve.
You're
from
never
it.
going to improve. And I don't even flood my email and ask me for critique. I want you to stand in the fucking mirror and look in the mirror and say, what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses? And you're going to ask your coach the same thing. But if you can't realistically look at just yourself, don't ask a judge. Don't even ask a judge who judges a show. What's my critique? If you don't know it, how can you improve? You need bigger this, smaller that, better conditioning, more muscle here, better If you can't pick out your own flaws, you will never do well in this sport. I mean, he
Or
knows
industry.
all of his flaws.
Yeah.
I have a laundry list of them. I can tell you all.
I had mine
We don't
too.
have enough time for that, dude.
I know,
I
me
can tell
too.
you every one if you want to hear it though.
Always need to be bigger shoulders, more thickness.
Not me.
Dear God.
Yeah, not this
My
guy in the
thick
scoop,
shoulders and
freaking
his
scoop neck guy
microcomb.
king over here.
In your Inspire brand shirt, his shoulders look
All right.
massive.
Enough with the shoulders.
Anyways, we got more bourbon to drink and
Yeah.
a couple bathroom breaks to hit.
I
so.
have
Yeah,
to
I have to pee
pee
again really
so
bad.
fucking bad. I thought about doing it a half hour ago, for God's sake.
Probably an hour ago. So,
Pee since I got back from the last time I peed. So, all
all
right.
right, guys, look forward to Kate coming on every month because she already volunteered,
Yep,
so
she
she can't
said
go
it.
back on that.
Yep.
And
We'll catch you guys next time.
yeah, Pat's gonna drink in 3.5 weeks. So, salute.
And eat aioli. Bye.
Bye.